it is not enough for me to be weird. I must also be strange. Okay, why? Wait, were you not already strange? Uh, you must be asking. Yes, but I've gone back to being as strange as I've ever been. God, you got here immediately because I made everybody wait 15 minutes. I'm like, here, posted the link. Come join me. And then don't show up for fucking 20 minutes. My bad, y'all. Y'all, it's Boily Boy. What up? Yo, check out this check out this mixtape, dude. Yes, of course my own, but um a friend of mine. It's pretty I listened to it. It's long. Or actually, I don't even know if it's on here. It should be. Um check out this artist. We should say that. Yeah, no. This is the fucking mixtape. It's pretty fucking good. Listen to it before I start streaming. I love you for that. Okay, so this shit went hard as fuck. I don't know if y'all it's kind of I guess it's like Detroit rap, which has its own sound and style, right? But it to me there was like a lot of different influences, but very much his own kind of voice, which I liked. I don't come on here and promote people's shit if I don't like them or what they make. So I don't know them that well, but the music goes pretty fucking hard. I was on track one and I was like, nah, yeah, this is fucking fire. And every single track, there may have been two that were like okay, and the rest were like fire bangers, you know? So I thought that was pretty good. Yeah. Oh, and it's really long. It's like 19 tracks, but once you start, you're like, okay, yeah, I will keep going. I'll keep going. I keep going. Because I thought I'd listen to like half at a time. Did not. That was somebody else. Well, I don't. Yeah, I put the fucking mixtape on SoundCloud. I'm a SoundCloud rapper now because I got rap music on SoundCloud. SoundCloud 9 Studios, baby. That's this desk. Yeah, no reunion. What's up in the chat? I want to do whiteboard night 222 on the clock. We're doing a whiteboard night, and like, we don't have to get into it yet. We could talk music for a second because we know Dom likes to talk about music, right? Jinx. Cheers. Isn't it so weird how I'll say something that's totally relevant to the chat, but the chat didn't come through yet? I get so disillusioned sometimes because I'm like, damn, when you just stay in it, it's like, yeah, good idea. Except leave the cig, break it in half, destroy it, spit on it, flush it down a toilet, burn it outside your lungs. I won't. I had to eat an edible because this period is kicking my fucking ass. I have not been tired in months. Like we know. Or like yesterday I was and then it started. So I was like, okay, that makes sense. Um, it's got me tired. It's got me down. It's got me laying. I'm like, fuck, dude. The cramps be kicking, the blood is bountiful. I'm like, holy hell, bro. It is a holy hell. But God is not a woman. Stop saying that. That's such a fucking load of bullshit. If God was a woman, we would just lay eggs. Like, relax. God is not a woman. Um, okay, like be for real. Be for real. Only a man would be like, yo, make them bleed, suffer, cramp, nearly die every month just for being women. Like, okay, a woman decided that. God. Well, exactly, exactly. Because the thing is, blood's very powerful when it comes to ritual magic. So maybe it's not all bad to expel blood, right? And the patriarchy invented birth control so that the women did not expel blood, so that they would not have so much access to so much natural magic. Okay, okay, this actually makes sense. Huh? Okay, yeah, blood. Blood! Like, I was with dog. I was literally with my brother when I started. And I was like, oh no, I'm bleeding. And he's like, I'm sorry, but my first reaction was just blood. I don't want to offend you. And I'm like, no, I love that video. It's hilarious. Okay, this is like the first 5 minutes of the stream. 44444 with 4 viewers. So welcome. If you just got in, you should be here. Here's the thing. I am down to do some tarot. If you want to watch tarot readings, I just posted some individual zodiac readings on YouTube, and they're pretty quick, so you can go watch those while we dilly dally, chit chat, lollygag, if you will. and come back in a little bit. And when the screen changes, you'll know if we're doing tarot. There's no guarantee that I'm gonna do tarot tonight, but if I do, you'll know because the screen will change. But right now we're in chat mode. And the first thing on the whiteboard agenda is the phrase conspiracy theory. I want to go over that. I don't know why I was inspired today. I was like, we should definitely break that one down for some reason, just because. Oh, did you like it? The Virgo one, I can't remember. It was better than last week, right? Or because there was at one point it was just the Libra obsessed with the Virgo or something was the whole reading, and then Libra's reading was all about Virgo, and it finally wasn't like that this week. But I don't really remember Virgo because that was the last one of a couple days ago. I was probably so tired at that point. It was like 4 in the morning. Which is so your energy. Oh, perfect. See? That's it. So here it is for later. Here's the link for later. Or for now, if you need some message. And then when you're like, oh, I like that hit, you come back and then tune into the lesson if you want to. Okay. Why conspiracy? Because I talk conspiracy all the time. We all say conspiracy theory. But I want to just like quick because we talk about what things mean, like alien, like we're trying to curb using that word because when I was using the word alien, god damn it, I gotta roll ads, you guys. I totally forgot about the ads. It's gonna disrupt with the ads all night if we don't do it now. Um, so before I get all holy man accents and Lilith shows up or whatever the fuck goes on this stream, we gotta roll the addies. I hate you. Why did you do this to us? Oh my god. That's oh my god. I'm rolling with the Addies. No, that sounds so bad. We're not. Oh my god, you're so cute. Yeah, right. Well, if I want to get paid, I have to roll the ads. And it's not because the ads pay, but because Twitch says, hey, we're letting you get paid. You better roll our ads. I'm like, okay. Oh my god. All right. We have to roll them. 3 minutes. If you subscribe, you don't have to watch them, but you'll still watch a BRB screen. Once in a while, it'll be me, but you know, you can still consider subscribing. And then you don't have to hear capitalism in your ear. So, again, 3 minutes. Okay, so I don't think I can stream on TikTok, and I don't even have the app right now. I don't really give a fuck about TikTok. In fact, I think I hate it. If I'm being honest, I know I don't really like Instagram either. I don't like Facebook anymore. Um, yeah, I don't know about these apps. This is actually a huge, huge topic of conversation in my life for me and with my business because as a business partner to myself and an entrepreneur in myself and a free agent of myself council meeting is like, yo, you've got to post it on the feeds and the algorithms and the TikToks and the reels, the Instagrams. You got to do it. If you want business, you got to grow your audience. If you're an online based business, you got to grow it online. And we all agree, yes, yes, yes. And then like for some reason we hired this artist. It's still me. So we hired this artist. It's me. And just radical punk will not shut the fuck up, will not obey authority, will not do it. So will not post on social media like to that extreme. It's so hard for me because I'm like, look what you're doing. Look what you're consuming. What are you people watching? Why are you on here? Or, like because everybody needs to touch grass, right? And I spend a lot of my time, maybe not touching grass necessarily, but you're right. I'm an outdoorsman. So when it comes to the work, I have to do it, right? Because it's like, man, if you want to spend your time outside, you got to spend your time inside. And if you spend all your time inside, then you got to come back outside. Because this deep, deep contemplation that I've been in lately, being a holy man. I'm like, yeah, of course, everybody has access to the same stuff that I have access to, but not everybody sits there and refines it over time. Not everybody is trusted to do it. And I think that is where this comes in to play. Because yes, everybody has the same gifts and abilities that I have, but the reason that I can do them as easily as I can do them is because I practiced them, because I prayed, because I learned, because I listened, because I sat back and fucking did the work for. And you know that it's legit because I'm still doing it, right? And it's really listen, man. I know a lot of people can talk to different people, believe in ghosts, or have these little like moments, and that's great. And I'm glad because then we can all affirm each other. Like we're all witnessing this, right? Like we experiencing this. Okay, okay, cool. Not everyone can hear them like say full sentences and show up as images and see apparitions and whatnot. Nor does everybody want to. Not everyone has the time, dedication, or stomach for what I do, right? So of course, everybody can do it. I am trying to ooh, what ooh, ghost night. It is kind of oh, that's yeah, go for it. We're not really deep into anything. I'm just kind of I feel like there's a lot of questions surrounding what I do and why I feel like I have the audacity to do it. I think the questioning comes from a lot of the views that we get on here, and the why do I do it comes from within me. So people question what I do, I question why I do it. Um, but it's the proof is there in the dead people and in the tarot readings where I'm like, okay, so don't let me try to fucking figure out your life from a fucking reading or from my decks or somebody else's. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. We're actually going to discuss what the fuck what would constitute as a conspiracy theory before we talk about any conspiracy theories, because that's what came to my mind today. Is we need to get it right. If people want to look at my labels and judge me, this is where this is coming from. I think people look at the labels that I put on myself and they judge them, and it's like, do you understand? Do you understand what these things mean? So, big example that has already been discussed, come up, and I feel we are on to the next level, next label, right? Hey, I freely encourage people to judge. I have a 50-minute podcast on my SoundCloud, right, about judgment and how you need to be able to judge. And people who say, I don't judge, literally red flag because they have no boundaries. What are you not? You don't judge? Not good. Because if you witness somebody stealing from me, taking something out of my fucking purse or some shit, and you don't judge So you are cool with the person who did it? Okay, bitch, you out. That's it. You out. You're out. Okay? You literally no. You're just as guilty, just as bad as the person who took it. And what did you take? Hmm? And what is it that you took? Hmm. Quiet. So judging is required for self-reflection is exactly correct because what behaviors do you not like in other people? Where can you identify them in yourself? How can you avoid becoming into contact with people whose behaviors you do not align with other than eradicating them in yourself? Okay, so if a bunch of people you know don't like me, guess what? Good, good, good. It means I left them in an appropriate place that I'm no longer in. So fucking good. Um, hi. Uh, what's up, everyone? So judgments are fine, but before you judge mine, okay, my labels, my securities, my this and that, let's go over them. Yeah, let's discuss them before we judge them. Let's at least know what the fuck they mean. So, what's a conspiracy, everybody? Do we know what a conspiracy is? Conspiracy class? Anyone? No, sorry. I am being condescending towards a certain energy, but I'm not sure whose energy it is because that's how this works. It's all anonymous, and all I see is the number 7 and 4 or 5 chatters, right? So, best I can do. But sorry to whomever I was being condescending to. So, what does conspiracy mean? Conspiracy is, I admit, it's sort of bad. Bad. Oh no. What do you mean? Because conspiracy is like conspire, right? And when you conspire, you are basically formulating, we'll say formulating a plan against something, right? A vague definition, not Webster, obviously. Illy. Okay. Why would you even leave for another stream? Kind of a dick move, Dom. Oh, I was roasting you. Yeah, no, you're right. You had every right to leave. All right. I was literally talking mad shit to him, and he's like, I would prefer you talking shit to me than whatever else was out there. Literally. It's because Dom cannot respect me as a holy man, so he only gets to phase 1 of the holy man. And the 3 phases are roast, right? Ghost, and coast. Roast, you get made fun of by the holy man. Ghost, you talk to their loved ones. And coast, you send them on their merry way with new information and new healing methods so that their lives can become what they need them to be. So if you get stuck with me roasting and roasting and roasting you, it is because you need to hear me as the holy man and stop looking at me as a hot woman. The hot woman is going to keep roasting, roasting, roasting. And you think you like it, but that just means you might be unhealed. I'm sorry, this isn't about Dom. This isn't about Dom. Listen, you guys, this is a general message. It's not about Dom. Relax. But I'm just saying it's a common thing. But it's funny because that stupid book is what helped me realize. So it's not that the mushrooms made Ram Dass some arrogant, narcissistic asshole. It's that he was already an arrogant, narcissistic asshole who went and took mushrooms from people who used them as a sacred tool and a divine counterpart to their spiritual practice. Okay, so we're not going to get too into the book. We're talking about something else right now, but it will be relevant later when we define conspiracy. Okay, so conspiracy is kind of a bad thing. It's basically to conspire, but the verb, right, instead of the noun. So this would be, I'm sorry, backwards. Conspiracy is the noun, conspire is the verb. Right. So it's essentially you're going behind someone's back and you're going to end up keeping information from people. And that's a huge component of conspiracy. Right. But here's the thing. We kind of all sort of agree to this to some extent. I think a lot of people think of the conspiracy to be more, well, of course, people see this as some kind of mental thing that some people believe, right? When rather it's not some kind of fabrication or plausible story to be told, but rather the things that are being hidden that are inherently doing people wrong. That is essentially what conspiracy is. Okay? Now, what is theory? Because here's where we kind of mess things up, right? Is theory. What is theory? Because anything that we are considering conspiracy theories may constitute as conspiracy, but rarely does it constitute as theory. Because what is theory? It is when you take a hypothesis, right? Not even. You don't even have a hypothesis yet. That's like the third step. Second, third step. So you take a question to have to have a theory, not to have a conspiracy, but to have a theory. You take a question, okay, and you test it by right collecting data, and you follow the scientific method. And in that method, you have a hypothesis. Okay, key component here, your hypothesis. Now, in order to become a theory, right? In order to become a theory, this hypothesis has to be agreed upon. By a majority of the relevant community, right? Oh, Conkers is back. Is to be agreed upon by. What did I just say? Cannot read whatever I just wrote. Majority, but I didn't finish it. Majority relevant. Okay. So, you're not even paying attention. Well, we'll get there because what constitutes as an actual conspiracy theory, right? That's what I'm saying. So, in order to have a theory, it has to be agreed upon by the majority and mostly plausible. Nothing is technically provable in science, how scientists live. It has to be agreed upon that it is mostly plausible in order to become a theory, right? So, in essence, a theory has to have happened. Ta-da! You see? Conspiracy theories are not made up. Otherwise, it would be a hypothesis. That was my point. I'm sorry if it felt like a joke when you got to the end. But it's true, right? Yes. Yes. So, my favorite conspiracy theory now. I can answer that. Because what would constitute as a conspiracy theory is something that has been proven plausible or has actually happened because it has been witnessed by more than one relevant source. I'm not talking Roswell because we still don't really know. We've had a few whistleblowers, we've had confirmation, this and that. We have not had an official call. We have not had the proper documents. We've not had the proper experience to say. That to me feels like conspiracy hypothesis. Maybe you guys want to play. Let's say what's a good theory? What's a good hypothesis? Okay. In regards to conspiracy, not in regards to science, even though this is a scientific method, right? That sounds like hypothesis, right? Like, well, okay, arguable. I'm going to put that in the middle. I'm going to give you a question mark on that one because to some degree, it's very obvious that the Federal Reserve is ruling the Western world, arguably as a shadow government. Is that not just the government controls the Federal Reserve? So is it? Yes, I agree. We'll put the Federal Reserve in the middle. We can decide together. So my favorite hypothesis is whatever is going on at Roswell, um, and the gray bodies. Personally, my favorite theory is that Krasinski, or whatever it is. Am I saying his name right? I feel like I really am, even though I didn't know it until a few weeks ago. Which would be MK Ultra, yes, and beyond even, right? Because this was those fuckers, which is why I said this would become relevant. Is Be Here Now. Those guys were doing experiments on that boy. They were the ones who started it before the government got involved. Yeah. So Ram Dass created the Unabomber. Isn't that funny? The guy who wrote the psychedelic Bible, the guy whose work has never been questioned, who's been revered, and they've made documentaries and have days and celebrating him. He contributed to the creation of the Unabomber, and that is my favorite conspiracy theory because it is what happened. It's what happened. You know? Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy. But Ram Dass and Timothy Leary were professors at Harvard, and they went and got mushrooms from some shamans in the not the Himalayas. They went to I think it was somewhere in South America. Cannot remember the mountain range. It was not the Himalayas that they first got the mushrooms because the dudes in the Himalayas don't do mushrooms. They don't do drugs, right? They're spiritual. And you can be spiritual and do drugs, but it just wasn't them. So they went and got it, but they brought it home and then they were tripping a bunch. There was no like Laws, nobody was doing psilocybin in the US, right? This was in the 50s. So they're tripping balls, but they're Harvard professors, psychology professors specifically. So they're running the psychology department at Harvard. They literally are some white guys in suits with degrees authorizing other people's degrees. Okay, so big head honchos here. Harvard professors. And what they did was take a group of their psychology students. It wasn't necessarily Ram Dass and Timothy Leary. There was another dude who is sort of the one who is associated. He conducted the experiment, basically. Ram Dass and Timothy Leary brought the drugs into the school and created a group of 6 or so professors that were like consistently doing mushrooms together. It's detailed in the book. But what's not detailed in the book is what happened to Ted Krasinski because it was published before he became the Unabomber. But he was one of their students. So at the age of 18, him and who knows how many other kids were illegally and unknowingly administered psilocybin during their stay at Harvard because they wanted to see the effects of it because they couldn't figure out if it was a placebo or not. Okay. They were tripping so fucking hard that they were dosing people at school. Kids trying to get an education. Kids who were trusting these professors to teach them, to be safe with them, and they're getting dosed. They're getting drugged. What the fuck, dude? No. So as it went on, they got banned from Harvard at some point. And Ram Dass, he was disgraced. So I think he left. But I'm pretty sure this other guy, his first name is Ed or something. If I look at this book, he's probably in the book. But if you look up Ted Kaczynski, You'll find his name pretty quickly. I guess, yes, I'll find it. Fuck you. No, just kidding. Um, Timothy Leary. What is his name? Rupert. Can't remember Ram Dass's real name. Ed. Professor. Harvard Project. Probably the one. I didn't realize Aldous Huxley. Richard Alpert is his name, is Ram Dass's real name. Where's the Ed one? Oh, I am saying his name wrong. It's Kaczynski. Guys. Yeah. Yeah. A series of purposely brutalizing psychological experiments may have confirmed why he hated science, is basically what this article from the year 2000 is talking about. Henry A. Murray. That's the one. I don't know why I thought his name was Ed. Um, I'm linking you to the article. Yeah. So that's my favorites. And what is favorite, but the most interesting conspiracy theory to me. And again, it's a theory because it's true, and a lot of people witnessed it and can confirm and corroborate the story. So, favorite hypothesis is whatever the fuck's going on at Roswell, but not enough people have corroborated. Favorite theory would be the Harvard psilocybin group and what happened to Ted Kaczynski. Like, it's not right what he did to those people, but I do still empathize with what he went through. It's really fucked up. Like, it's really fucked up. So, um, Tuskegee experiments would be theory. Because the thing is, there is the cooperation, but also, like, enough people deny it that it still has that questionability about it. Same with like the rape of King. We talked about that on stream the other night. Not a lot of people know that happened, so people are in denial of it. So you sound like a conspiracy theorist bringing something like that up, but it's true and it happened. Um, Hypothesis would it really all comes down to like extraterrestrial activity, doesn't it? Because I can't think of anything else that like, you know, um, I guess like Hollywood elitist whatever circle pedophile to some degree. That would be another questionable one, right? We'll just put CP in HW because it is true. It is both theory, right? Same with the Federal Reserve and hypothesis, because to what extent are they doing things is what is in question. Because on one hand, yes, we see the pedophiles get charged from Bill Cosby to Drake to Harvey Weinstein to, well, he wasn't a pedophile, just like a fucking molesting rapist or whatever. I don't know. But, you know, even like the Aerosmith dude, Like, sure, yeah, I don't know what that means, but right, I bet you. So we see these dudes hanging out with teenage girls and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like we know. But on the other hand, are they doing all this like killing and blood sacrificing and worshiping the devil? That's hypothesis. Some of them might be. A lot of them use weird foreskin skin stuff and listen, they have no shame about that. So is it valid conspiracy hypothesis? Sure. The satanic in quotes, because like Satan has nothing to do with it, but satanic ritual in CP in right? Right. That would be hypothesis. Illuminati in general, right? Illuminati, conspiracy hypothesis. Freemasons, conspiracy theory, right? That kind of thing. So we get it now. We get it. So when I say that part of my job is conspiracy, I'm not trying to convince anybody that something is true that isn't, or be like, oh my God, it's in the water. Which, honestly, they did have a huge fucking fluoride in the water experiment in the 30s when there was a body of water that the town was drinking from and it killed everyone in the town and they didn't realize it was the water until it was like way too fucking late. And the reason the water was killing everyone is because it had a super high amount of concentrated fluoride. But then in the 90s, they started putting fluoride in bottled water and giving kids fluoride treatment, even though back in the fucking 30s, they knew that high concentration of fluoride was going to kill them. Yeah, yeah. Like that theory. It's being hidden, conspiracy, but it happened, theory. We agree, it happened. Crazy. I can't remember where it was. I want to say it was like Idaho Falls or something like that. Something weird. It was like a natural source of water. It wasn't an experiment done by the government. It was right, right. And that's how they discovered it is because it happened naturally. There just so happened to be a natural body of water that had high concentrations of fluoride. That's how they knew the effects of fluoride on the human body. Crazy. That would go and put fluoride on the theory. So this is perfect because fluoride being in concentration able to kill you, fluoride kills this side, fluoride calcifies this side, right? Same with like processed foods. We know it's bad. Bad food is bad physically, but bad food bad spiritually, right? Bad life, bad food, bad life. Bad food, bad health, right? Bad food, bad life. Pretty cool. Okay. I think, you know, mm, probably. I would say a lot of what I see is in my mind's eye. So that's pretty much the basics of the pineal gland, right? What? It was a good lesson, right? I don't know what gave me the urge to share that today. You guys are so silly. I'm gonna take a bong rip instead. Because I'm so bleeding so much right now. It's annoying. Oh, I'm sorry that sometimes I just literally say it out loud because I'm like, wow, it's just going. And that's why women get left out of stuff. And it's like annoying because it's like staying home is cool, but only if I'm working. Right? Like I like being here so I can do these things. And like it gets disenchanting. It gets very disenchanting. Here's the thing too. is everyone has access to these things. There's a reason there's so many goddamn layers to get through before you can access it. There's a reason that we have calcified pineal glands, calcified pineal glands. There's a reason that we eat processed food. There's a reason that they have chemtrails in the sky because people get distracted by those things. They get toxified by those things. They get stuck and sick from those things. They get trapped into cycles of needing pills and healing from medicines over the counter, prescriptions, and Western medicine, doctors, all this. They get stuck in these cycles that keep people from being able to just tap in as freely as I can. Do I sometimes still eat processed foods? Yeah. I don't really pay too much attention, but I have in times in my life. But taking the breaks is what made me realize I could do it at all. As long as you're not doing things that will completely block those things from you, right? And it's all situational. Maybe you can detox, you eat shit, but you clean it out, right? So, how to say, I played spin the lighter and it's on you. Take a bong rip. I want one too. Oh, I'm pointing to the bong. The bong gets to take a bong rip. Okay, but do I get to take one too? I get a bong rip. Yeah. And sex too is, it's a something I go back and forth on because I think some people are very too uptight about sex being such a deep connection or so easily bonded. Because if you use protection, then you are not going to create the same kind of bond as if you don't use protection. If you share fluids, you're going to create a stronger bond than if you don't. 4 in the clock. So it's also that where you have people's energy in you, around you, on you. And whose energy is it? If it's all good energy, sleep with whoever you want. If you are picking people who love you and like want to be with you and like give you in return for your exchange. But if you are willy nilly doing whatever, then what are you attaching to? Yeah, of course, of course. And that's because you understand energy. Okay, okay. Divine deformity necromancy. Very good. So what are you saying my deformity is? Hard to make that point about Margot Robbie. We learned that from the Barbie movie. Maybe you should have fucking watched it, you little prick of a Ken. Oh. Oh, okay. What do you want? Because if you create a screen name, you're allowed to chat. You can chat. You can talk back if you want to. Oh, but you don't want to. You don't want to. You just want to make fun of me. Deformity. That's so very rude to say to an able bodied person. That's very cool. I think you could do both. I mean, like, I think it's of oneself and for oneself. And like I said, if you're sharing with the right people, it's fine, but if you don't, then you might just have all these extra attachments to you and all these additional things going on in your energy. And we're just talking about the same thing. We're not trying to criticize sex as much as we are talking about food. If we're going to criticize the food, then yes, let's also criticize the sex because think about the protection you use. If you're using something like a lambskin, you're going to have a lot more a natural connection versus if you're using a fucking Trojan, which is disgusting. It's like the thickest, most synthetic latex situation. They're just horrible, right? And it changes everything about your pH balance. And it's like It's toxifying you, right? No matter how enjoyable or pleasurable it is, it's really toxifying you because it's a lot of toxins there. So it's all about what you're using to do these things, to eat. Of course, you have to eat, you have to sleep, you have to have sex, right? You have to take medicine. That's the same thing as popping over the counter pills for stuff or even psychiatric meds. So, not everyone believes what I believe, okay? But I have overcome a lot of my mental instability or mood swings or the general rage. And people say, "You still sound mental to me doing accents and thinking you could talk to dead people." Good for you, bitch. You want me to put your relatives on blast? Because they will put your ass down so fast you'll be more embarrassed than making stupid fucking screen names. Okay? Don't awaken their wrath on your behalf. Let's not go there. Okay. So it's almost like they want my attention, but oh, good, I have yours. You know, don't do that. Anyways, you have to eat, you have to have sex, you have to shower, you have to wash your hair. You don't have to wash your hair, I guess, but you know what I'm saying. There's things you have to do. So being conscientious of how you do them and what you use to do them is very important. That's why right now, okay, my bong water is a little dirty. It's been a couple days. I forgot to change it. And that to me is like, oh no, that's affecting the way that I'm smoking weed. I'm using the weed as medicine. I don't want over the counter drugs. I don't want a psychiatric fucking prescription. It did not make the dead people stop talking to me, nor did it make me stop crying, nor did it prevent me from getting angry. You don't need this message anyway, baby. I love you too. So I'm someone who doesn't want to use those types of medicine, so I have to be very smart and very responsible about how I use my medicine, right? Okay. Everybody's different. Everybody's journey will be different. What we have to do is going to be different. Your diet is going to depend on really where you live and what you have access to, what you can afford, what you have available, what is kind of in front of you, what is made for you. You don't always get to choose your diet. You can choose how much of it you eat. You can choose to pray over your food. You can choose to be grateful. You can choose to chew it enough before you swallow it so that it is easier to digest, right? So it's not always just what you consume, but how you consume it. Okay. So I don't know why it feels like somebody's about to bust out into tears. Like for a second, I was like, I don't feel emotional, but I felt like kind of like a big burst of crying right here. Um, I want to light incense. Also, I'm gonna grab one of these Siva live ones. Um, so anyway, we got like 20 minutes until the next ad. This is we got like 20 minutes until the next ad. Um, we went over the conspiracy theory thing. I thought that was kind of fun, but that was really all that I had. I think there was some stuff that I was thinking about that was kind of like conspiracy hypothesis that maybe I wanted to share, and that's why I wanted to like clarify the definition, but now I don't even remember what it was. Other than very much enthralled in this whole concept of how much women are left out of spirituality lately. And it's funny because I read like a quote from Osho. Somebody asked me recently if I listen or like Osho, and I don't really know who it is. But I just recently saw a quote of theirs that was like, women often are not included in spirituality and spiritual text. And if they are, they're considered witches. Good point. And further discussion was like, well, either considered witches or just completely discredited, right? And we've talked about that, like with Mary Magdalene. Not only was she the wife of Jesus, but she also was the whore of Babylon. That meant she was the scribe. She sat there and took notes at the fucking democratic meetings they held. She was the one who worked for the city of Babylon. She was in control of the narrative. They trusted Mary Magdalene. But she went her job with the government of Babylon to be with Jesus and have his babies. Like, that was basically what that was. But of course, it's not even that over time whore became to mean someone who has sex for money, but rather they made it that way to discredit her. You get what I'm saying? It's not like this one word had simultaneous definitions. We see this done constantly and consistently, specifically with the English language. Kuntas, another great example. The only word in any language to embody the entire female reproductive system inside and outside is the word kuntas, which is derived from a South African or a West African language. Sure, maybe. But we wouldn't know because he wasn't allowed to have children. Wasn't allowed to have children. So when all the disciples scattered, I'm sure his children scattered and they never told anyone who they were, so their children never knew who they were. But if you had to guess, it would probably be people like me who could divine, right? Because you have to be trusted by God to have access like this all the time. There's no way people can walk around knowing this much or hearing this much about everyone all the time, or we'd have a chaotic world in which nothing functioned. And trust me, sometimes people hear it's not just us diviners or people who do it full time. People get their messages and have their own intuition to some degree, to some level. And some people are too scared to go any further. And some people are not allowed to go any further. Some people have control over their thoughts. Some people don't have control over their thoughts, and vice versa. So possible. I never considered it, but yeah, I'm sure. So whoever his kids were, they wouldn't have really known. But well, that's what I was saying. It's like I don't mind it at all. It depends on the spirit. And I think when I was younger and I didn't practice this as much or as openly or as often, it was a lot scarier because it would be a lot more intense energies. Because the less intense ones just aren't as noticeable, not as pushy. But the intense ones, they're like, you can see me, bitch. Don't lie to me or yourself. And it'd be like, okay, so what if I can? And then we wouldn't really get anywhere. So it wasn't until I had a few personal ones to come and kind of teach me and show me, hey, we're here, that it could really sink in. And it wasn't until John Lennon came down with his big purple head and was explaining to me why he chose not to reincarnate or wasn't allowed to, and gave me information that I didn't know but was like verifiable. Yeah. And a lot of times I just talk to them or I don't notice who's talking. It's the same as I was saying. Sometimes, the people in my life, everyone on here is like, we love you and I'd be your friend and I have a crush and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, well, and once you get up close, you sometimes just want to be with the hot woman in front of you, and sometimes you need the holy man before you, but you don't always get to choose who you're going to get in that regard. There are days I get to take off and I get to do whatever I want and be a free woman, but there are days where the people need the holy man, and I don't get a choice because I will be at the river and I will have to bear a message to someone about what this means on their bodies and what will happen if they do this. And are they going to take me seriously? Some river rat who they saw was just some hot woman smoking pot in a bathing suit, singing along her silly songs, echoes of the woos. But then you hear this come out, and they say something very creepy. But me, I have to do it. And what does have to? Because then you are the bearer of bad news, you are ruining people's day. You are playing God. No, I am but God's messenger. I am but a vehicle for God to speak to whomever happens to cross me because I allow God to move through me. I allow the messages to come as anybody could. But a lot of us speak from a point of super ego. I want, I need. I must. I have. I get. It's mine. Okay, super ego. We've been over this. That's what the book is about. But people who operate from true ego, consciousness in itself, can understand that consciousness is bigger than oneself, and that's why you mustn't kill the ego, because the point is to connect more to consciousness. Even if you want to disconnect from the individual, you cannot completely disconnect from the individual because that's who you are. We would have a dysfunctional and even non existent world if we all decided to be like me, right? Because that is the point. Is sure you can do it, but then where will we go? This world would cease to exist. And while we do need this world to change, do we want it to end? Is that where we truly are at? Because every day, more and more people seem to say, yeah, end it all. I'm waiting for it to end. I want to die. I want apocalypse. I want the bomb. Is somebody eating banana bread? I'm jealous. I want banana. I always put butter on mine. Like a big, thick, not like when it's hot so it melts into it, but like when it's cooled down and you put like a slab of butter, almost like frosting on there. Yum. So again, it's not about what you eat, but how you eat it, because that to me is a delicacy that reminds me of being probably alive somewhere in the 1500s, eating churned butter and bread that was so old that it was almost rock hard. That's what the butter was for. And where did we get the cream from? But that's how 2% was made. We had to cut the cream with the milk, and the milk with the water. The water is the butter. So flavorless. So to come to this day, fresh banana bread, butter churned by another. What a beautiful experience to come back to exist for. Now I will share with you something a bit personal. Okay. I recently had an encounter in which I saw too much. You know, I saw too much. Because sometimes when you see the dead, you can see the living. And I saw too much. And sometimes in life, you do not get the outcomes that can exist, but the ones that do, and the ones that will. And that can be very hard. And it is the reminder of how tough this road is because you will not always get the things that you see, and you will not always know what things will come, right? And some people say, yeah, you're right, I'd rather not know. And when the question comes, would you want to know how or when you die? A lot of people say, no, I wouldn't, right? But I don't mind. I have to tell people sometimes. I even see it in myself. The thing is, the numbers change. You can always extend and shorten your life with ease or keep it where it is meant to be. It is part of the game, if you will, but not some game like checkers, not some game like chess, but the game like you'd find at Blip and Chips, okay? Because you go in and you're like, yeah, okay, need more health here. Oh shit, I'm almost dying. Ah, fuck it, I'm done playing. I don't care. Right? That kind of thing. 111. Welcome. You were the next part. Somebody walked in and as it said 111. So there's plenty of things you can do to change that outcome. But to me, getting a check-in to hear when you might would be worthy because you would have the opportunity to change. No fate is set in stone. We live in a multidimensional universe. There are many timelines existing within one, within 12, within dimensions and timelines, right? There are choices, there are dice, there are 8 billion people, right? Every outcome can be an outcome. It all depends on your moves on the board. So any kind of information you get from a diviner or from the dead or about death or anything like that is never set in stone. And anybody who tells you that it is wants to scare you. Okay? Wants to scare you. So don't take the warning as something that is trying to scare you, threaten you. If someone is trying to warn you, okay? Come on. Come on, Mr. Sassy. All right. What's up? We have to roll the ads in like 8 minutes. I haven't started any tarot or anything. No, it means free will exists. If you could like alter the results of something, being in a multi-dimensional universe, being able to create any timeline, right? That means free will exists. And a surrendering free will would be to say, "Oh, I die at this time. I have to let myself." Oh, for example, Bob Marley is a great example. Probably the only example I could think of. Whereas the opposite would be Dr. Kevorkian. Okay, so where one refused treatment and naturally died because he wanted to stay the course of his life, the other was like, "Yo, forget how it ends. Just clock out now." But both kind of not the opposite thing. Kind of like same thing, different coin, same side of a different coin, different side of the same coin. You know what I mean. I don't know what I mean. Put in the proper phrase that would go there. You know, 7 and 7 and 7. Um, is that somebody's like preferred drink? Is a 7 and 7? I feel like that came up on the last stream too. So, well, anyway, I got like 5 minutes. I think I'm just gonna roll the ads. You sticking around? What do we want? I don't think I really have the energy to do tarot. I don't even know how much longer I'm gonna stream. I feel very tired. I don't know if it's not that late. I need to drink some water, have a little snack. It's a damn period, you know? The animals kicking, the cramps really kicking, that blood, bleeding. Rock and fucking roll, man. I love your period emotes. Thank you for that. So I'll be back in 3 minutes, okay? Oh, good. I'm glad it was neither. Hello. Um, got a little chilly, so I put my sweatshirt on, which I love. It says, "Love is only real to the surrealists." And I would say, yes, I'm a surrealist. Okay. I can see love even when it's not there, because love is everywhere all the time, and a frequency and a vibe rather than a feeling or emotion. Right? You can find this and a bunch of other merch on my website. If you want to look at it, maybe even buy it. I think it's fun. I don't know if this is the right link. Let's find out. I'll click first. Don't worry. That's not it. Why do I always do this? Why don't you just go get the link? Check it before you share it. Shop. Gotcha. www.illymilly.com/shop. 111 on the clock. Gotta love it. I mean the timer, not the time. Like we've been streaming for an hour. Like you get it. So, anyways, yeah. What's ooh, what's up, y'all? Got a lot quieter around here since our ad break. Going on. Sounds like there's some cats ready to fuck some shit up. Cosmic Charlie, how do you do? I don't know what we were talking about before the ad break, but I was done. So thank you. I shouldn't sit that still. You guys are gonna be like, "Oh, is the stream? Did the stream freeze?" And then everybody goes, "Ah!" Oh, but if I don't have anything to say, I'm just like, mm-hmm. Ah! Okay. So, anyways, um, what's going on? I don't really want to do Drafesi. Drafesi. Cool. Oh, you might actually be a real person. What's up? Sorry if I don't seem super friendly to like new followers. It's because I get made fun of a lot. Trolled pretty badly sometimes. So actually, it could be a lot worse. Let's be grateful that all they do is make stupid screen names. It is. Where are you from? You mind telling us? It's really sad. It's really sad. We try to just FYI everybody. We usually use Gloria instead, so that doesn't have to come watch the stream for essentially no reason other than it just keeps getting flagged. So yes, we are in a very abusive relationship with Gloria here in this dear country. Our domestic home of the USA. We are in a very abusive, narcissistic relationship with Gloria. The Gloria, Gloria. Absolutely. Very depressing. Very depressing. Just like, it's funny how everyone that I know has had to deal with like some kind of gaslighting or narcissist in their life. And 100% is reflecting the relationship we have with the governing body, with Gloria, if you will, I think. It has bred a certain type of mentality, a certain type of person. Um, oh, have you been listening for a while? Were you here for the conspiracy theory versus hypothesis conversation, or are you just bringing that up separately? Oh my God! See, yeah, you should start it from the beginning for sure. Like when it's over 555. Oh, cool, 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 cool. Um, well, and what's interesting about lithium, I don't know what the join is for. I'm not doing tarot right now. It's chat mode, and we're talking conspiracy for the most part. The crazy thing about lithium is that you think Gloria wants down to earth people? Well, attached to earth people. um, but lithium is still used as like a psychiatric drug too. And that's crazy to me because it's a literal like heavy metal. Like it's poison. It's going to destroy your liver and other parts of your body way faster than other prescription drugs. We should know better than to be using lithium as medicine. It's archaic. You don't even want to use cocaine anymore for medicine, and you want to use lithium, but we can't even fucking that. I don't know. That's just it's crazy. And then people just accept it as okay or truth because the government is the one who did it. Sorry, Gloria. Sorry to the NSA if you have to watch my stream all the time. Obviously, we're big shit talkers and little shit walkers because we're not very organized. We're not really planning anything. We're just upset. Okay, so spy if you want to get in on the conversation. Well, I feel like it's a lot more complicated than that. That is a theory, but I don't I don't think this Gloria is thinking about anybody else that much. I think they might be willing to tell those interests that that's what they're doing. But in the end, they'll screw everyone before they like make a deal with someone, right? That's kind of how we've always. Who knows? I may have already unconsensually gotten brain chipped. Who knows? Why? We already have phones. That's the thing, y'all. I don't think it's necessary. What do we need brain chips for? We literally are just like on here. They're like, hey, we're listening and recording everything. Is that cool? And we all said, yeah, fuck it. You gotta turn on the location to ping a phone. Come on. They fucking, what do they need brain chips for? We're all fucking consciously connected, and then we made it worse by being connected with technology and using the same techniques you would use for scrying with an interconnected kind of network involving devices that make it instantaneous, accurate, and the perception to be more concrete. No, I don't pay attention to that stuff. But exactly, it's like Inception meets the Matrix. And we're living it. And that's kind of what life has always been, but people were a lot less aware of it or kept to their own community. Without the global connectivity, there was this element of being able to stay within the home, stay within the community, and have your own bubble. But a lot of people want to venture outside that bubble and question reality when they stay in the bubble. And that's why we have created these things like these technologies, or even because this was the whole idea of the iPhone, right? This isn't what Apple represents now, but this is Steve Jobs' intention was to be able to create a device that could act as the vehicle of collective consciousness. Yeah. I would need to see that movie. Isn't he kind of a bad guy? I thought we root for the little boy that is played by John Doggett. I'm always rooting for John Doggett. No, wait, he's the bad guy, not the kid. It came out in the 90s. Yeah, wait, I guess I'm not rooting for John Doggett in that one. John Doggett, my favorite anti-cuss word. I always forget to use that one because usually I'm just like, God damn it. What up, Mr. Weird? Do you want to cheers a little bong rippy? Little pippy bong rippy with a hippie, just kippy, because I really don't like to be called hippie. Kind of got too closely associated with looks, and I shower way more than that and refuse to have dreads in my hair ever again. So please refrain from referring to me as a hippie. Cheers. I just punk who smokes weed. I was thinking of a song, but then instead I was thinking of a different song. You got a bone to pick? Boom, 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 boom. I don't want your old ass motherfucker clutching my phone again. I'm not mad, but you're depressing. Who's friends? No questions. Bitch, where were you when I was walking? Now I'm running things with the whole crowd talking queen. Could everybody want to get up inside of? Could have heard that? I'm a real writer. Oh, yeah. What do you mean? Bitch, I swear you don't see me walking. Now I'm running things with the whole crowd talking queen. Could everybody want to get up inside? When you get the cake, what's the take? The cake is where I have a seat. You can I got it because I believe in a beat. Oh yes I do. Oh yes I do. Oh, sorry. I'm good. I can have antics, but a rapper with a pretty face about to get blasted. You're wrong. Why wouldn't I tell? But most of y'all double dip like you got a bottom bitch from a low ass shelf. I said that line wrong on the mixtape, and I was so upset, but I was trying to do as many like one take through as possible. And it was like the only line I messed up, so I left it in there. But it doesn't make as much sense because it just like says you gotta you double bitch like you got a bottom bitch. And I'm like, damn, that sounds so dumb when the actual line goes kind of hard because you double dip like you got a bottom bitch is like zinger. But double bitch, damn it. You know, messed that up. That was like the only line I messed up though. So, yeah. Besides the cramping and bleeding and um me doing my best to go 40 days without any doubt, I'm good. How are you? Now I'm high too. Cool. Woohoo! Can't remember the last time you were here, but I dropped a mixtape. You can listen to it on my website or SoundCloud or Bandcamp. SoundCloud doesn't have the first track though because Cream is heavily copywritten. Probably shouldn't be on my website either, and it probably shouldn't be on Bandcamp either, but it can't be on SoundCloud. So highly recommend my website. She uses the vehicle to listen to it. Very inspired. I like it a lot. It's pretty funny. Cute. I like it. Um, I worked really hard on it, but I worked really fast on it. So I made it in like 6 days. I like picked out the songs, wrote it, and made it in 6 days. All the art, all the everything. All the fucking tracks, all the editing, all of it was done in like 6 days. So a lot even changed in that 6 days. It's so funny. Um, but then yeah, it's very good. Very good. So um it's interesting how much people can be interested in things, not really truly being interested So strange. Anyways, why do you bring that up again? Where'd you come from? Hi. I was listening to that today actually, and I couldn't remember who said it. So it's funny that you are bringing it up again because somebody said you should cover that song. And I don't know that I would. Um, Although I do love the ladies of rap, I feel like it's too simple of a song for me. I know that sounds really shitty of me to say. I get that because it's an awesome song and I love it. Um, but if I get ahead of a track with Kendrick and then like struggled to do the Missy Elliott song, I just don't think uh that would be a good song choice for me at all. Because it's just like changing the words. You're only changing like 3 words at a time anyway. Maybe I'm not giving her. No, I don't know. Highway skulls and bones. Whatever she says. Sticks and stones and weed and bones. Anyway, we hit one. It just seems like little poison, guns and stone. But I do want to do Still Fly. So if I want to put out 2 songs, I'll do that. Sure, we'll do planes. Fly like Fly like planes, get high like paper. High like paper, fly like planes. That's what I'll call it. Okay, fine, I'll do it. Oh, good night. Thanks for coming back. Coming by. Have a good night. Um, oh yeah, she still is. I'm pretty sure she put out music a few years ago, if not any time more recent. Yeah, she still makes music. It's still good. I love her. She was such a girl at that time. She is the reason I think, well, it could go either way. She either jumped on the trend or started the trend of that pattern. You know her album cover from that album? I don't even know what it's called, but I just feel like she did that like fake kind of tribal weird, like Arizona iced tea for 2008 vibe that everyone, the purse straps, the headbands. If you were there, you know what I'm talking about. It was 2727 with 7 viewers on the clock. So 777. Somebody's getting lucky tonight. Maybe money, gambling, I don't know. Um, take a chance, take a chance, take a chance, because like a slot 7 7, whatever. Yeah, hell yeah. Um, but yeah, I love MIA. I feel like she was really a trendsetter, or at least, well, yeah, probably more of a trendsetter than an innovator, right? Um, it was just a great era. It almost feels like, it's isn't it even right to compare them because it's almost like they don't make the same kind of music. But I truly feel like Santa Gold was like the blueprint. And a lot of people stemmed from Santa Gold. And I feel like MIA was so short. That I would like to listen to. I should listen to that. Maybe I could pick a better song to cover. I mean, I want to make originals, but I don't care to make beats. Honestly, you guys, I don't think so. And I think people don't know how to make a beat for me. Anything I listen to, I'm like, I could write a song, but it'd be goofy, like that's why I like to be able to pick songs out. But um, that would be so fun. That sounds so cool. I love her. But Santa Gold, I think, is really the innovator of the It Girl era of that time. And um, MIA was like around same thing. She was a again trendsetter, early trendsetter, but I feel like Santa Gold was the original. Um, and there was just that whole vibe of music that she like. I don't know how would you explain it. It's like dark nostalgia, right? If you were to call MGMT and like the Shins and I don't know, like Father John Misty, sure, like nostalgic, then Santa Gold, and not necessarily MIA, but Santa Gold specifically, I feel like it's dark nostalgia. Like think about what's it called, Desperate Youth. It's like so overly emotional for what reason? None, none. It's so good. And it makes you like takes you back to like any kind of time and place. Probably a lot of good memories, but it makes you feel weird because the song is like such questionable content. Oh yeah, hell yeah. I was so into that stuff in middle school. My aunt's nanny was like from Europe, and she was like, "Oh my god, all the Europeans just listen to like trance all day long." I'm like, "Cool." I'm like a sixth grader at Catholic school, listens to nothing but like mall goth, hot topic punk, you know. And she's showing me this stuff, and I'm just like, I feel like I could get things done. I feel like I could get things done. And I think I got into writing again at the time because I was a writer as a kid, but then going through puberty, you don't care as much and self consciousness and just, that age right before puberty where you just want to play and hang out wasn't as emotional as writing it down. I got into writing, typing, writing stories when I started listening to trance music. Yeah, I don't think. Oh, I thought you meant like trance music, like club trance. You meant like trance, like chanting trance, or like both, either. I would say that kind of music is not cocaine to the ears, but more like LSD to the ears or something. Cocaine to the ears is like party rock. I don't know. Marvel movies. It's Marvel movie soundtrack. Cocaine to the ears. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Oh my god. Okay. I feel like somebody comes on here and they want to see me. This is so stupid. I hate that I have to stop and say something about these weird energies, but I feel it in my face, and so I feel like I'm showing it in my face a little bit. Where it's almost like somebody comes on here and they watch. I don't know if it's because you miss me or because you stalk me. I don't know what this is, but they are laughing and they go from laughing to crying. It's like we're all laughing here. What are you doing? I'm coming on here crying. What is this? You know what I'm saying? It's weird. It's like, what? What do you want? Look, I think they left. No, they didn't. They're undercover. Oh my god. Stop it. What do you want? I don't even understand. What difference does it make, man? Yeah, or well, soap opera, right? I wish it was an opera. I will be too loud if I got the windows open. No. Yeah. 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 They're like, haha, I love her. Wait, I love her. Sorry, it wasn't supposed to be like evil laughter, but anybody who would sit on here and laugh and cry about how much they love me is obviously people who did me wrong, right? So that's why we laugh. That's why we laugh. Or they're trying to, right? What do you mean by Mortal? Is this what you mean by Mortal Kombat spell? This is probably a good chance. Half the reason they're fucking trying not to laugh or cry. Yeah. Remember the other night? Were you here for that? There was a one night where it was like too many dudes, too many dudes, maybe some chicks. It was just I don't know if I looked extra hot that night. Like I don't know what I was wearing. I don't even remember what stream it was. 333 on the clock when I was saying that. It was borderline traumatizing, and other people were bringing it up. Other people were like, "What is that energy?" Hi, Wolfie. I don't think it was last stream. I think it was the one before. And that's exactly what I'm referring to right now, though. It's like you were there, you witnessed the energy. It's funny how talking about that stuff, they leave. And the thing is, I don't, it very well could be that people didn't enjoy the conversation we were having and left. The new maturity content, she can't hear or see the stream, she can only chat with us. I don't know if people just didn't like the conversation we were having or because I call it out and became hip to it, they just leave. It's like a mix. It's very strange, right? It's very strange. Anyways, we weren't really talking about anything. That was the thing. Yeah, kind of. Right. I don't even realize it, you know? Like, I really don't. I have two eyes, and I will let them show me what I need to see. I have a third eye that will open when I'm missing something. I'm still trusting these eyes first. And that's because my resolve is to be honest and trustworthy. And therefore, I have to believe that people are honest and trustworthy. And I might know they're lying, but what can I do but believe them? You believe a lie? Way more complicated than that. I believe that when you lie to me, I will know in a different way. I love how I started doing it before you fucking even said anything. God damn. It's like I started responding to things before I get them in the chat. It's so weird. So I want to attract honest and trustworthy people in my life. If I haven't yet, that's my mistake. What have I got to work on? I have a lot of confidentiality in my readings. I think I need more confidentiality in my everyday life. But I get confused, right? Because it's like, what good does anybody get from this information? What do you want? Why do you want to know? And it's like, oh, to take advantage, to get what I need, to get the information. For what? Ask yourself, what are you asking? You are coming across the holy man who can answer any of your questions, talk to any of your dead relatives, show you anything in your future you might want to see, give you heeds and warnings to not end up what before it's your time. And all you want to do is literally manipulate, lie, and take advantage of me because I'm a hot woman. Fuck right. Right. You have the opportunity to talk to anyone who has ever lived in this life, and you squander that for your own silly little fucking games. That's crazy. But that's how I help God see who people really are and how God shows me who people really are. If they cannot even respect you as a hot woman, they really will never hear the holy man. But here's the thing, why do you continue to trust people like that? Well, they're the ones who need healing. But of course, the people who get this from me for free are giving me more than they know. More than they know. If you think you got something from me for free, ha! I told you to do your goddamn research. But it's okay. Okay. Because God and I could never make a deal, but only work together and become one, work as one. It is what the vine does. It is what this is. What is a millie without the illy? What's a illy without the millie? Guess what? Still acting like $1,000,000, no matter what buck on any income. That's a real one. That's a 10 toes down, right? That's a who the fuck cares who gets around? Even if I did, who gives a fuck, right? It's your luck. Why would you let anyone stop us? There we go. Get in on it. Spin a little bit, but not on this. That's so right. I used to rock them Chuck Taylors back in high school. Probably bad for my back, but I sure look cool. I had the one with the tennis ball texture. And, I can't think, damn, why did I go with that? Because I was thinking of um, something that didn't end up rhyming. Yeah. It's girl, it's funny because I sit here and I'm like, yeah, no, I know. I get that I'm non-traditional. Like I'm not like people my age. I don't have a lot and I'm not shy about it. And I don't pretend, or like my attitude. Okay, my attitude not reflecting my situation is, I think, different than just pretending about my situation, right? And not giving every single detail of my life on stream or to people is normal, right? Some barriers. But it's just like the way that people just need to be getting something out of everything, or like be in competition, or need to win, or need to play games, or like need to have like the thrill of a chase or a high or something, or structure, like on the other end, structure, a plan, a goal, a mile marker, a hit, right? Yeah, like, okay, that's y'all. Y'all want the degree, you want the picket fence, you want the kids, you want the nuclear wedding, you want the nuclear planet, you want the nuclear wars. Go get it, go have it. That's what you're going for when you act like this, when you go behind people's back and stab people in the front. For what? For what? Was it good money? Was it that good of money? Who wants that kind of money for information about my life? That's crazy because I can't imagine forsaking me or crossing me would be worth enough money in the goddamn world knowing what happens to people who cross me. But I digress because heed not the warning. There is no threat. But it would, for me, have to be a lot to do something. A lot. Big fucking mess, huh? How much is it going to cost to clean that up? Ha. Interesting. Somebody's shook. They gotta come tell me about this that I'm talking about. What do you mean? Want their life to bars? Feels like an incomplete sentence. And bars is so many meanings, like a drinking bar, or like behind bars, or like spit bars. You have to live some shit before you write it, is what I would say. Yes. You have to be, I think I get what you're saying, right? My take would be, in order to write bars, you have to live it first, right? So that was kind of where I was going. So it's funny you brought that back up because people who want the structure have to hit the goals, have to chase the next best thing, have to cut people down and talk shit and are so bored. Can you imagine? Literally, and I get, being creative and being spiritual literally makes my life interesting. It literally makes my life more fun. It definitely just makes me, people in general, more interesting and a good time. We don't need to do drugs. We might like to do them or whatever because it helps enhance the creativity. But creative people are going to have a good time regardless of what they're doing because they can just do whatever, right? Great work. So people who aren't like that, I get why they're all up in the business of people who are. You know, when you really sit back and think about this, okay? When I sit up here and I'm talking about people doing this and that to me, I don't really fully know who it is. I have plenty of good ideas, guesses, the 10 usual suspects, 10 unusual suspects, and 10 usual suspects, right? So when I say these things about people selling me out or crossing me and stuff, I'm like, I know somebody did it. I know somebody did it. I don't know exactly what they did or who they did it for, why, right? but there was a cross. Okay. So that's fine. It doesn't seem to affect my life in a very real way. I don't even know if it was spiritual or physical. Not producers necessarily. Not that I know of. That's what I'm saying. I was very much it's questionable. It's just questionable. We'll just put it that way. It's just questionable, right? Listen, I don't know. People aren't offering me money. That's my point. It's almost like they're offering other people money to try to stifle me instead of them having to do it. Is the gist that I'm getting the downloads from, and that's where the person who comes on here and laughs and cries, that's where this conversation's coming from. Is somebody really fucking wronged me and they like feel bad because they had to get to know me in the process of getting information, and they're like, what are you doing to this woman who did nothing to deserve this? But again, if you are a creative person, you are interesting, you're making life interesting, you can make and create reality out of very little, if not nothing. For a true creative, what do I need about myself but to create? Because even without any tools, even without any mediums, of course, I love to write, I love to draw, I love to paint, I love to type and make songs and whatever, read books. But all I need is me because I can still sing without anything else. I can still dance without anything else. I can still speak without anything else. I can still make a beat without anything else. Right? I can still do so much just me. And here's the thing though. I am. But here's the thing. Not only is not everyone going to like that or be like that, right? But it's also, no, somebody came on here. I got distracted. It's giving Pisces. When you do not have that creative element in you, I see why you would sit idly and discuss the lives of the people who do. Because a lot of us do look like freaks until the process is finished or the project is done or it happens for us, right? Or until it makes sense or until it finds the crowd that it needs. Once again, a lot of the people that I like, say in music, okay, Laurie Anderson, great example, but maybe David Byrne is a more relatable example. Those motherfuckers probably look goofy as hell, dressed like fucking weirdos, acting like fucking weirdos, moving like fucking weirdos, sounding like fucking weirdos, talking like fucking weirdos, acting like fucking weirdos. But guess what? How many decades later are we still singing their fucking songs and being like, wow, I fucking love those weirdos? But at one time, they probably got the shit kicked out of them, probably got made fun of so badly, probably were some of the nerdiest people that you would have ever met in your life. And when they first got up on those stages doing that shit, they probably got a lot of fucking criticism, backlash, or just laughed at. It was probably not a lot of people up there supporting them in the early days. And that's why Talking Heads are pretty famous, but Laurie Anderson's not really the same level as Talking Heads. But she's been making music and been almost just as relevant in the art world for just as long. But she takes it a step further than David Byrne ever did. She takes it about as far as Peter Gabriel did with Genesis, but even he dropped that shit after he left the band. So it must have been really hard to get up there and do those weird things in front of people, especially at a time when no one supports you. And that's what I do every single day that I wake up. Don't know why. And people like to discuss it because it's like the process of being a creative, of figuring out how you're going to do it and how you're going to make money and how you're going to see and grow. Especially because I focus more, literally focus more on the spiritual path than the creative path. And the spiritual path is fucking poverty, period. It's like, it's not poverty because you can pay a lot for readings and you get paid a lot for readings. But the true spiritual work is not tarot and stuff, right? Yeah. See? No. Um, peace always a joke. Like you can't even joke with people who constantly are joking anymore. Fucking ridiculous. So, anyways, um, people are strange when you're a stranger. I'm a very strange person. Very strange person. And I am someone who people love to make enemies of, I guess. So the creative life is a starving artist one, right? That's what they'll tell you. But it's, yeah, it's like, you can make the money. You have the algorithm, you have the print shops, you have the digitize, you have the fucking Bitcoin, what do you call them? NFTs, if you really want. There is money in it. Spirituality, it's almost like the more you advertise, the faker you seem. You can't really say too much who you are in that way. It speaks for itself, or it should, at least. And so if you try to tell people, well, you have to show them. If they don't want to see, you can't show them. So what are they looking at then? A hot woman. God damn it. It comes back to that every fucking time. So I understand why it seems so worthy of discussing, but you have to understand it's awkward and your lives must be really boring. So it's like these people are just horny. They create their own sexual tension. Maybe I did. I don't know. The heartbreak one or a different one? But yeah, right. So it's like, yeah, of course I know if people are lying to me. Yeah, I kind of do know what the fuck goes on behind my back. I kind of do see what's coming before it happens. But at the same time, I'd like people to prove me wrong because then people want to turn around and say I'm a know it all. But then, okay, so prove me wrong. And then nobody says anything and it's dead ass silent and nobody says otherwise. Right. Okay. Okay. So am I, you know? That's like the whole conundrum of being this person. And that's why it's not a very popular role. More popular to be like spiritual TikTok, witch talk, kind of, pull daily cards. Sure, sure, sure. But what I do, less so. Very much less so popular. Talking to dead people and channeling your ancestors and higher selves and having console and giving people the news of when they'll fucking die or how they could die or what they've got to do to prevent themselves from, it's intense. It's intense work. I know, me either. But again, it's easier than what I'm doing. What I'm doing is very intense and it's very beyond that. And it's very hard to quantify and it's very hard for people to accept. It's hard enough for people to accept tarot and astrology to begin with. But then to add on what I do and you're not ready for it and you didn't know. And that's why people need to be really careful when they talk to me because I listen the whole way through, not just to one thing or the next. I'm like, but in the beginning you said this, you refused, okay, but you kept doing it again. And I told you this would happen if you did this, you did it again. Stop blaming me. You knew the rules. You tried to play. You cheated. You lose the game. Period. Move on. Next. You know? But look, somebody's scratching their heads, scratching their ears. I don't want to hear it. What about you? Yeah, of course. I already know these things for me. God would not choose me to deliver these messages if he did not think that I was the right one to do it. God knows what I know of myself and of others. God knows the reason that I went through as much as I have. known as many people as I have, and dove as deep into myself as I have, is to show me so many different aspects of my personality to give me an enhancement over my abilities to help heal people. The more relatable it is, the easier it is. If I have experience in it, then I have done it for myself. I can easily do it for others. Easierly, I should say. Right? So God had to give me lots of experience. No, I did not hit my mile markers. I never finished school. I never bought a house. I do not currently own a car. And that is a big deal to people because I'm at an age where I should have. But instead, I prioritized other things like being able to understand, maintain, and have joy in my life. Not feeling like I'm going to bleed out and die or be suicidal for 2 weeks every month. That was a priority for me. Sorry, everybody. Sorry I didn't get my degree. Sorry I don't have a fucking certificate. Sorry you don't fucking like my job. What the fuck did you want me to do? Actually kill myself? That's an interesting take for people to have. Yeah, sure is. Sure is. So, big secrets revealed. My life plan, since I was probably 7 years old or whenever the fuck I saw Woodstock for the first time, my life plan was to be dead at 27. That made the most sense to me. So, you can understand that at 27, when I almost died, that also made sense to me. And you can understand that when I didn't die, 27, there was no life. There was nothing. There was no plan. There was no resources. There was nothing. I was meant for that. So I thought. I didn't plan it. I forgot. But when I was faced with death, death reminded me of what I had said. And I said, "You're right. I have nothing." I mean, at the time I had a little more. I did have the job and the house and everything, the city life and the scene and friends and socializing. And then death came knocking. Said, "Remember me? You said you wanted to die here. And now it's time." And I said, "Oh my God, you're right." And then death said, "Yeah, and you're kind of guilty of all of these crimes." And I said, "I plead guilty." Ah. And so I thought that was it. That was good. It was hard. It was a long process. But at the same time, now everybody wants to criticize. What are you doing? What do you do? What do you have? Why don't you do this and that? I've done so much. I'm sorry. It's not quantifiable. It's not financial. It's not physically stable. It's a scar and a tattoo and another scar, actually, oddly enough. So there's like this scar here, and then I got stitches, and then I needled on it and busted it open. So it scarred like inward. And then I tattooed some lips around it. And then, like, it was last summer. I don't know what happened, but I got like a scab here and ripped it off. And it was like so there's like another scar within the scar within the lips. Yeah. Pretty crazy. That's nothing. I have such a disconnect from my body. I barely feel things on most of the time. It's pretty crazy. And then sometimes it would be heightened sensitivity. It's so extreme that I couldn't even be touched by anything. And like going through that cycle, dysfunction. You cannot hold a job like that. I actually am in a group, a few groups, PMDD. I'm referring to my battle with premenstrual dysphoric disorder for the last 20 years that I've just recently in the last few months been able to overcome and cope with for some reason. It's a lot of different reasons, but I haven't even used nutmeg in like 2 months. It is hell. So my focus after almost dying at 27 and being totally cool with it was to just get better. I wasn't like, better finish college now. Better go get that big fucking corporate job that pays me 30 grand a year, which is like nothing in this day and age. right? Nothing to who? Okay. So I'm sorry, there's so much pressure on people, okay, to have things and to have things in order and to know what you're doing and to be at an age and to have we're all on different paths. But you have to understand this path, people who watch this and want to do what I do and be like me, you don't. You might as well do something you can really get your hands into, something that will pay the bills. Because this might pay the bills, but what you have to do to get it to pay the bills is like you're faking it at that point. And I have to come to realize that the holy man will always receive what they need. It's not always going to just be financial abundance. It's a different kind of abundance, right? That's why you write books as a holy man. You have to sell the books to make the money. It's not the work itself. This kind of work comes all the time. You never get any time off. Once again, somebody wants to hang out with their friend. La, the hot woman, illy. Fun, it's cool. Shoot the shit, play games, whatever. Go out, have a drink. But after a while, you start getting the holy man because the work is done all the time. Because after a while, God sees the child in front of you. He says, this child needs you now. This child needs a word of God. But it comes through what? Same person sucks. So fucking annoying. Holy man, and myself a hot woman has a presence. I look in the mirror. I can see where you was tempted. You want me to go to hell? I said, that's where I'm invented. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So it's very good. Very, very good to be in that 222 on the clock. Good to be able to accept messages. It's good to be able to receive messages. But to be the diviner and to be the one to deliver them is tough. Yeah, of course. Of course. I think about it a lot all the time. What held me back was the PMDD and the blood, and still does. Now that the PMDD is under control, I feel like I could move somewhere where I don't know anyone. But moving somewhere no one can find me is like leaving myself for dead. So, in many ways, because like they'd be like, "Oh, cool, you just kill her." No one even fucking know. They don't know where she is. Right. Um. The other thing is like the blood. I've almost bled out and died like living amongst people. So if I was like remote and no one knew where I was, I would die probably. So it's annoying, but what can you do? um, Semi-remote, like semi nowhere. Most people can't find you, kind of thing, right? Anyway, maybe I'm a little too lighthearted about that, but it's my health, so who cares? And it's a lot better than it was. That's what I'm saying. I've spent the last few years just trying to figure out how to make that better and simultaneously trying to work like regular jobs and doing this stuff and doing all the other creative jobs that I do. And so like it gets cut back and back and back. Exactly. Sometimes it takes centuries. Sometimes the holy man doesn't see the payout. And that's even worse. But it comes in the next life and it's like, I don't think that's the best promise. I don't love that. I kind of need to pay the bills now. And that's the duality of the hot woman is the one who pays the bills, which is annoying because then I have to take on the job of a hot woman and look at those jobs. Less than fun. It's like being a siren. And what is the ethics of a siren? The siren has to call. But the thing is, I don't call you in for your destruction like people assume that I do, because a lot of hot women do. I lure you in to your happiness, to your health, to your healing. That's what's so sad about it. People inherently don't trust me, don't want to listen to me. Ah, not you, evil siren. Da 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 da. Hello, I am singing to you to soothe you so that you'll laugh when I roast you and feel comfortable when I talk to your dead relatives. Then I'll make sure when you are sent back on your bed that everything will feel good again. It is what it is. That is what it is. Okay. That's so cute. Didn't you bring up lapis lazuli the other day? Or was that somebody else? I think that's the one stone I have never owned. I don't think I've ever bought lapis lazuli. I've had sodalite and the other idealite. Yeah, it is. It is. It is. Absolutely, it is. That's what I'm saying. But people usually don't get past the roasting to get to the message. And if they get the message, they're so stung by the roasting that they don't feel the healing process or effects until it's like too late or it takes them way longer to figure out what it means because they don't stick around to the end to hear it. You know, kind of cute. So then they waste their time stalking me because they're like, I missed something. She ruined my life. I've lost everything. Blah, blah, blah. Everything that she said came true. What did she do? I didn't do shit. What'd you do? You better start confessing it. And I don't mean to God. Okay. That's, start writing all of your wrongs. Go watch My Name is Earl if you need inspiration. That's like, yeah. So I got 50 seconds, so I gotta roll these ads. So I'm just gonna roll them now. We'll be back in 3 minutes. If y'all want to ask any questions, you can. I don't really know how these topics come up other than once more people tune in and I get like weird. I'm crying. About what, bitch? kind of thing. I'm on my period. So PMDD feels relevant, but also my periods are so much easier, even though they're physically still horrendous. They're mentally manageable. That's what I was talking about. Okay, so I'll finish up the one thing on PMDD when we get back, and then ask anything you want or whatever you got going on, any subjects, topics, whatever. I don't think we're gonna do tarot tonight. You can watch the YouTube videos if you want tarot. So I'll be back in 3. I'll believe it when I hear it. What up, y'all? We're not doing tarot, so if you came on here looking for tarot, you can go to my YouTube channel and watch tarot videos I made. So anyways, okay, get it. That's cool. Yeah, no, it's good. Great. No, I mean that's good. Yeah, that'll be cool. Let me tell you all this depressing shit. Before they come back on DMT, I guess. They're just sleep. They're microdosing sleep. Um, and by sleeping, you release dimethyltryptamine in your brain and effectively dream. So what he's saying is he's microdosing sleeping. He's basically taking a nap. Is what he meant. Yeah. 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 So yeah. Anyways, so I deal with PMDD, and I don't really anymore. And I did a bunch of stuff to make it that way, like to make sure that I don't deal with it anymore, and figured out why I was dealing with it in the first place, and took so many measures to like alter my life in a way that would accommodate to this healing while I figured it out, and took a lot of like holistic approaches and different medicines to like help it. Right. I still very much use weed. Weed is like the only medicine left. I haven't had to eat nutmeg in like 2 months. I'm really glad about that. I was a little kind of agitated yesterday. I was a little aggro out and about. I was like getting real intense. Like I didn't yell at anyone. I didn't really cuss anyone out. I use cuss words. It's a bad habit. I could be in a good mood or a bad mood. I'm using cuss words. Um, but I was getting a little aggro. So it's not perfect. I still have PMS symptoms. Just being a little aggro is a PMS symptom. Being ragingly hormonally suicidal, loud, and wanting to fight is PMDD, you know? So, and like men who think women use hormones as an excuse, you realize you do the same thing, but you do it in a day, right? That's why sometimes you want to punch a fucking hole in the wall, and sometimes you actually just want to fuck anything that moves, and sometimes you don't want to be spoken to. You're going through a hormonal cycle, but you go through a 12-hour cycle throughout your day, and we go through a 28-day cycle, right? So you have more mood swings more often than women do. But you want to fucking say, that's a cop out and you're making it up and you're just using it as an excuse. Okay. So maybe you should figure out your hormonal cycle and worry about your goddamn self and why there's a fucking hole punched in your wall before you come at me about my broken headphones. Okay? Okay. Next. Anyways, you know what I mean? Because some parts of the day you have a lot of fucking testosterone and it's really hard to handle. Other parts of the day you have lower amounts of testosterone and it's pretty chill. You feel like a regular guy. Sometimes you have higher amounts of estrogen than testosterone. That's honestly when you get the most horny. I know y'all think it's like, I'm a man and that's why I like sex. No, sweetie. Being a man, being a man is like women on their period. That's when we have the most testosterone in our bodies. Okay? So when you're punching a hole in the wall, that's when you're being high testosterone. I'm a man. Male testosterone, born assigned male at birth, is when you're acting a fool punching holes in walls. It's when your testosterone drops, your estrogen goes up, just like when a woman is ovulating and her estrogen levels go way up, right? That's when you get the most horny. It's actually very feminine. It's very assigned female at birth to feel horniness and to have feminine sexual needs. And yet, so many men feel a need to control sex and the narrative around sex. Yeah, fascinating because it's true. And yet, there's this need, obviously, right? Obviously, there's this need to see women as like the object of sex, but not the initiators of sex. Not the ones who desire the sex, but the ones who are desired for sex. What in the actual fuck is wrong with you? Once more, it's more aligned with women's bodies, women's productive systems, female at birth people to be sexual than it is for men or assigned male at birth people. So, all the weirdo fucking chauvinists that think I'm a fucking super slut and live in a way more promiscuous way than I do and don't see themselves that way. This message is literally specifically for you. Okay? So did it sink in yet? Do you get it now? Do you hear it now? Okay? Do you understand now? I don't. Preaching. Because the Barbie movie was so shallow, surface level bullshit, did nothing for the narrative, personally. I think. A bunch of women were like, yeah, I loved it. Okay. And how many men watched it who needed to see it? None. Because you marketed it poorly and could have got them in the theaters, but chose not to because you wanted to make sure that you sold money. You wanted to make sure you made $1 billion, so you falsely advertised it to a bunch of women who didn't need to hear that message and promised a bunch of gays that you'd have representation for them only to bash all the gay characters in it, not give them any screen time, shove them around like they're objects, right? Okay. Well, they're dolls, they're all objects. Yeah, but that blonde one gets to come to life. Maybe. That's the whole point, though. They die in the end, right? Sorry, spoiler alert. It's the fucking Notebook. They're an old couple. So, anyways, I don't mean to be bitching, but it is what it is. It's good, but it's only good because I grew up loving Barbie and I love Margot Robbie, and I have a lot of fun memories of the Barbie movie and visually stimulating. And if it was just a kids movie, it would be like perfect. I still give it like a 9 out of 10 because again, like there's so many positive things about it. But to pretend it's some kind of revolutionary, like critical think piece for feminism or doing anything for the movement is just a fucking joke. Again, had they actually convinced a bunch of men to go watch that movie, then they would have done it. But getting a bunch of men to hate that movie and a bunch of women to be like, yeah, see, does nothing. Does nothing for the conversation, does nothing for the progress, does nothing for the culture, does nothing for the politics. Go ahead. This is chat mode. Ask me anything. We're just babbling at this point because there was some weird lurker energy earlier. So go for it. That's the other thing is like, of course, I consider myself a philosopher, but I sound like a critic, right? And as a critic, you become a villain. And as the villain, it's not very fun. So once more, sometimes being the divine, the creative, the cuckoo, you know, it's not fun. Not always good, you know? Keep thinking that line too. Holy man, it messed up how woman has a presence. I look in the mirror, I can see where you stepped. Did you want me to go to hell? I said, that's where I'm a visit. Oh yeah. Bitch, where were you when I was walking? I went up there. Oh god. Lisa, probably because she's a Taurus. And like growing up, I idolized her for sure. Thought she was so cool in her little like tree hugger era. I like wanted to be her. I was like, she's my age. Why can't I be like her? Like, why can't I dress like her? Why can't I go to protest? My mom was pissed. She was like, God damn it, you don't need to be any more like Lisa Simpson, you know? 222 on the clock. Ready? Oh, it's 222222222. I mean, I can now, but I was talking specifically her tree hugger era when she has like the beret and the tie-dye shirt and the little glasses. I was at Catholic school, I had to wear a polo every day. Well, I don't know you. Going back to your question, um, Catheta, Athena, Cathedra. I'm just gonna call it Cathedra. Is that okay? So that's look at who you're asking. I don't have African ancestors. The closest I think to that is like Maltese ancestors and probably Turkish ancestors, and that's not even that close. But when you trace really far back, if I had any trace to Africa, it'd be Egypt. And you're talking a whole different set of gods and goddesses. And no one has ever stopped me from practicing or not pretending, but something came up pretending. Somebody's pretending. Um, but I wouldn't be the one to ask this to, right? Because this is still not my lane either. Who's the straight man? Marge? She is an Aries, so she's got that masculine energy. Whereas Homer is a Taurus, and then Bart is an Aries, so it's cute because it's like their personalities are so different. So it's really like the two types, right? So genius. But actually, Homer and Lisa are the same. Homer's just disabled, right? So, or, okay, how do you say that? You know what I'm talking about? Like, Homer is a genius on the same level that Lisa's a genius, and she gets her smarts. That's why their birthdays are like that, right? Where Marge and Bart are both in Aries, because they are actually more alike than Bart and Homer, which is why they're always at odds. But because Homer's like dumb and angry, he's assumed to be, right? But remember that he has a crayon poking his brain, and that before he got it shoved up there, he was as smart as Lisa was and was also a super genius. That's not mansplaining if I had to ask you a question, Dom. Don't act like I'm overly feministic. I've never even used that phrase unless someone else brought it up. You just had to explain it. You using mansplain in that context either makes you a douchebag or is just very sad, right? Because if I didn't know what you meant, then you just had to regular explain. Just FYI. Am I being nice? Who are you referring to? Lisa is the straight man? She would be the one to break fourth wall. Okay. I will do okay. If you're gonna listen, I'll explain why race plays into worship. If we're all ready for that. I'm personally loading the bong bowl. I don't know if I'm gonna smoke it, but honestly, if we're gonna get into like race and spirituality, then we might as well smoke one. Because we do need to talk about it, and I do respect it, and I'll explain why. Because I used to be someone who was walking right into voodoo, and I learned more about it, and I walked back out, and then I got welcomed back in. And I'm not saying that's going to happen for you, because you have to get authorized by the proper authority. You have to get approved by your peers, and then you have to get traced back, whether it's in this life or this one. Your roots have to get traced back. That's why I'm telling you that I do have roots probably somewhere in Africa, right? Because my family ended up in Malta. It's right off the coast. And probably Egypt because my family went from Turkey to Italy and to here, right? And this is all traced back just quick, not going back too many centuries, right? Sorry, I didn't scroll down on the chat. If y'all are talking, I'm not responding because I want to answer this question. So there are certain things that you can and cannot do, okay? And I'm not saying that those things give me the authority to do it. I'm saying I thought I had a calling towards these things, learned about close practices, backed away from them, learned to do other things in the meantime, created my own resolve, studied my own practices, stayed in my own fucking lane. Because guess what? As an Italian or being of Italian descent, tarot is part of my practice. That's where some of the earliest origins of tarot are. Yes, you can say that the Rider Waite is the first tarot deck, but the Italians were using the card game to they disguised it as a game. It's a card game. It was tarot. Very spiritual. They have the El Macchiato. It's not macchiato. I always say it's il macchiato, I think. The evil eye, but it's Italian, right? So these all my lane, all of mine, yeah. Um, but then certain other things, okay, because the necromancy, usually that goes along with voodoo. However, I'm a Christian, so it's also Christian because Jesus was a necromancer. So you wonder, was he practicing voodoo? So there's a whole bunch of connections, but you need to know your roots first. Because I also went through the process of sitting on the ships, okay, spiritually. I physically felt a lot of the pain and torture and injuries, a lot of them self inflicted for the purpose of the spiritual learning, right? But I witnessed them, not just in my mind's eye, but as full blown hallucinations around me, okay? To the point where when I described them to a mental health professional, she said, that sounds more like you were drugged and having hallucinations rather than something like a schizophrenic hallucination, like people assumed it was, right? So, that being said, I had to witness what my ancestors went through and what my ancestors put people through. And I had to forsake my ancestors for people who would never forgive me. It was a process because I had to realize what was right and wrong. And most people are going to say, well, that's my blood. That's my people. That's my this and that. Okay, well, then keep your practices and go be closed off and be Christian or whatever the fuck you do, or steal what you want to. Just say, I don't believe in it. Okay, fine, don't. Well, I do. Yeah, fuck what those people did. Kidding me? Not only did my own people forsake who they were at some point by running and moving all the time, but also as a white person, regardless of how far fucking back my ancestors have to go, regardless of where my grandma was born, okay, still fucking white. I know I got some guilty motherfuckers in my bloodline. I know that. That is why it fucking matters. Because some of those deities and some of those entities, newsflash, I shouldn't even be helping you out with this. Some of them don't really have the best intentions for you. So you may think they want to work with you, they want to test you. They want to know your character. They want to see how deep you have gone and how much you're willing to give up and how much you're willing to sacrifice, repent, and even disown. Because chances are not much, and they won't want to talk to you. I can tell you that. Okay? So just be careful there, killer. That is why race has to play into worship. Is because some of those deities were protecting people against your people. And a lot of them aren't going to be vindictive, but some might be. And there might be people in your life who are vindictive against you who sent them. Okay? Never get that twisted. And learn to listen to them if they show up. That is why it matters. That is why people are allowed to have their close practices. When you have to fucking embed it into your hair, okay, then you will understand what it means to have a closed practice and the depth of why and the strength it takes to carry that on, right? Okay. Don't make me angry, don't make them. I never wanted to experiment with voodoo, but I was, again, it was like what's called to me or what calls to me, I allow. It would be a lot of bones and a lot of dead things before I realized I was the necromancer, right? So I thought this was voodoo that's called to me. People would bring me things, dead things, gifts, tributes. I built shrines. I didn't understand a lot. I didn't know anything about the voodoo, but I thought, I'm like the voodoo queen. I'm like voodoo. The dead things called to me. I think I could hear dead people. I see ghosts. Da da da. So I thought it was voodoo, but it's not necessarily voodoo. And because I backed down from that and did not say, yes, I can do voodoo if I want to, fuck what people say, I'm called to it. Now Papa comes to me once in a while to tell me things, which is nice. We have a good arrangement going. And yeah, Jesus. The whole point of the Bible is that Jesus is in the comments. Is that he was a healer, right? He could cure people, like cures the lepers, cures the lame. But he also brought himself back from the dead, and I believe he brought Lazarus back from the dead. And arguably, he talked to God and he talked to other people, right, who passed away. So he basically, yes, he was the necromancer. He was to an extreme that I cannot reanimate the dead body, as far as I know. But, um, you know, that's questionable. People do it, and people do it recklessly. I don't personally participate in that kind of thing, but I'm sure people do. I don't think it's a movie thing. I think it's just people have different reasons for it, or different needs. Everybody, 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 everybody. Yeah, I'm thinking about closing my fucking windows, y'all. And I was like, I should roll the ads while I close my windows, but it's like, nah, y'all should be on here while I do it. For repeat, man. Because then I didn't, yeah, yeah. Ew, why are you being creepy? Okay, I'm leaving y'all rolling though. Oh, now I'm freaked out because my lights are on. I don't usually leave the windows open like this because I hate that at night. It's been a quiet night. It's very peaceful, and then I hear one thing, and it's like, mm. We on live, y'all. We on live, y'all. We on live with it. We on live. We on live with it. We on live with it. We on live with it. We on. We on. We on live with it. We on live with it. We on live with it. We on live. Okay. Creepy. Um, Freaked me out that bad. I guess. So crazy. Anyways, um, we on live with it. What was I singing that for? I just didn't want y'all to hear what I was doing. I didn't want anyone outside to hear what I was doing. Oh no. Oh my gosh. I try not to be paranoid, but sometimes, if you have to be realistic, right? Some people would say, "Oh, why are you paranoid?" Da, 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 da. Because the Catholic Church probably fucking hates my guts. Not to mention, spiritually, my peers probably also don't like me very much either. Gloria seems to have to be on my ass at all times for no fucking reason that they can discern because I seem to be a very low level threat, but I keep saying flag words. I've had stalkers at so many of my jobs and in so many different ways. People I know are stalking me online, spiritually, whatever the fuck is going on. Yeah. I've had people who fucking hate me. Oh, no. I literally was covering up the sounds from you, but letting anyone outside my window know if there was someone outside my window that we were on live. Like I wanted them to know, like, hey, don't even try it. We're literally live streaming right now. Like, yes. Okay. Like nutty. We on live with it. We on live with it. It's funny. It's good. It's funny. It's cunning. Anyways, um, it's all going to be okay. It's all actually going to be great. Saying something will be okay actually is just like settling for less. If it's just okay, why not be good? And if it's gonna be good, you might as well make it great. So why settle for just okay? Makes no sense. Life's not necessarily short. It's long, it's infinite. You can always come back and do it again. But we're here right now and it's you know, get it. Go after it, you know? Run to it. Everybody says that. But then you get up there and you watch and you're like, I can't fucking do it anymore. I'm going back. I'm going in. And everyone reminds you, like, man, you're not gonna like it as much as you think you will. Yeah, I know, but fuck it. Why? They need our help. Just embrace this idea that it's kind of like people come back here as punishment to learn their lesson. You come here, you learn so many lessons. You learn all your lessons in one lifetime, maybe. Okay, that's what I feel like I'm doing. Nothing but lessons here. Or one big lesson I ignored for many years, right? So imagine you learn your lessons, you say, I'm not coming back. But then you think, so many people have not learned their lessons. Some of them in your life, some of them not in your life. But they're all coming back. And you think, fuck it, one last go. Let's do it. Fuck it. Right? Or you think, God, only evil people reincarnate on this stupid fucking planet full of war, hatred, starvation, racism, division, politics, killing, bombing, bah. In video games, or whatever you say on Twitch to not make it flag you. Okay? Yes, sometimes if you want to. Always more karma. And as we're here clearing karma, we are incurring it. So sad the way. But the thing is, how else will you hold that balance? Even if you didn't come back for a while, or never came back, or just didn't come back as the same thing, or came back as your offspring's offspring or something. Okay? You know what I mean? Sometimes you have to come back to fight the good fight because so many people are battling their own bad fights. You know? I could still go for human. Kind of like being the humans. I don't think I would, as much as I think they live peaceful lives, these animals sometimes, I think that I could be human again. I think it is actually quite revealing. I think it's quite beautiful the way that we get to do all these things. And I'd be very curious to know where this planet is headed and where this kind of humanity is going. Even though in our heart of hearts, I think we all know to some extent it just not how it happens. But we'll have to rewind it, yeah? And we'll have to start over something. Right? Like like it could have been anything, but you have to think it even could have been a timeline. Because in certain, currencies, it could have already been a million, right? Like you have to realize how many realities we live in simultaneously here and how many different like times, right? Like if we were not living on a calendar, you would think time was regional, as it is the clock is regional, right? The way that there are delays in certain parts of the country, or like just like different ways of living in different parts of the world, or just the way things are built and how modern something is. It's almost like time being structured as a calendar and a clock is limiting us in the way that we perceive the way that it passes. But if you complicate these systems, you really are opening up such such a process for something like this planet, which now has 8 billion people, that you would have to shift to this new paradigm. So we've made it very difficult, or they've made it very difficult for us to have any say in what goes on or to shape this reality, because we in tandem, us and them, the greater powers that be, and us, the ones who are being the manipulated, right? They have decided the way that the world would be structured. It's all in their hands. It's whatever they want to do. And we succumb to it because part of us doesn't recognize that we could choose any different. And the other part is like, how could we pull that off anyways? How would you change the paradigm of time on such a grand structure when everything is so tied? But then again, if it's all technology based, could you not just change the technology and most people would get the memo? And anybody living outside of that memo would be in their own ways, anyways. It's so wild. And that's the thing is when you do the job that I do and you get to times like, okay, it's retrograding. I remember being even more paranoid than I am now in my past, or in more pain than I am now in my past. I'm reflecting on what have I got, what have I done, what have I accomplished. A lot of people are experiencing anxiety and being really hard on themselves right now. And I'm honestly probably not being hard enough on myself right now. I recognize like, yeah, shortcomings. I'm the fool and I'm hurt. I'm hurt now. I allowed someone to toy with my feelings, or I allowed myself to forgive people who wronged me. I allowed myself to be laughed at instead of find people to laugh with. Okay. I can understand why those things happen. I was once a worse person. I once treated those people unfairly. Maybe I didn't say the right thing. Maybe I deserved this in some way. Okay. Um, whatever the case may be, whatever the case may be, I also am like, honestly, I'm just so glad I don't deal with PMDD like I used to anymore. I don't even really give a fuck what's going on or what I've done. I don't care. It's like if you knew the weight that was lifted off of me, it's indescribable, you know? But the best I could do is if you could cure yourself of PTSD holistically. And it was like a routine kind of PTSD that made you want to kill yourself and go into survival mode every month, routinely every 2 weeks, for 2 weeks, every month is crazy. Some months more mild, but still inevitably the same cycle. Like stuck on that cycle for 20 years, and then like the first 15 of them not knowing that's what it was. But then also, like, I'm in this Facebook group for PMDD support and a Reddit group for PMDD support, whatever. I love my support groups, but um the crazy thing is like um the crazy thing is the who's playing with their hair or my hair? Who wants to play with my hair? What the fuck's wrong with you? Yeah, this is my hair. Why would my wig have roots? Who is questioning if this is my hair? It does kind of look like a wig because of the way it sits. I totally get that. But if you looked at it up close, in real life, it's not as like perfect looking. It's like comically perfect looking. Um. Anyways, what were we talking about? Oh, okay, tired. The hair thing really distracted me. Um, it wasn't necessarily about being a good person, but being healed. Okay, so I'm in the support groups, PMDD, and in the Facebook group recently, one of the moderators pretty much lost. I don't know what happened. Nobody's really saying it. They just keep saying she lost her battle to PMDD, and I think it just loosely translates into when you have suicidal thoughts for 2 weeks straight every month of your life for decades of your life, hey, you end up killing yourself, that kind of thing, I think is what happened. That's what almost happened to me. And that's why it's like pretty fucking amazing that this thing that affects thousands, hundreds of thousands of people, and no one knows how to treat or cure, and people lose that battle time and time again. And I think that's a huge accomplishment for me, and I could care less if I have a fucking car. Like, literally don't care. I'm probably never gonna kill myself now because I can overcome PMTD because I realized it was mostly PSTD. STD. Somebody's got to get tested. Listen, VHS, I don't want to accuse you of anything, but you were the last one in here. So I was talking about PTSD earlier, and only this time did I say PSTD. So y'all sexually active, go get tested. You damn goofball. But anyway, it's very sad that someone in the running the group, support group for this disease, died from it. That's where we're at with it. But I've holistically naturally cured myself, man. No, it's blood. Shh. It's blood. It's blood. My blood clots are tomatoes. I'm Italian. You know why I'm probably sleepy? Because I think the whole time I talked for 2.5 hours, correct me if I'm wrong. Have y'all seen me drink any water? Have y'all seen me drink even a drop of water? Have y'all seen me consume any fucking water? No wonder I'm like, I'm tired and it seems weird. Tired or dehydrated. To be fair, I could easily be both of those things. Mm. Mm. Yeah, dude. Fuck. Oh, God. Um, fuck. Okay. You were here the other night, weren't you? Or maybe that was Jezza. Y'all have similar looking screen names with the under dash, and you always have like the same color. I guess it has been a while. Did you just wake up from sleep? You didn't want to wake up, but you woke up in the middle of the night and you're like, fuck it, I'm not going back to sleep. You came on the Twitch. I was thinking collard greens. Dude, I won't even nice. Go to bed then. I won't even go anywhere without water. Like I could be going to the fucking gas station and back to the house and I'll be like, grab the water. Oh wow, yeah. Like I said, your screen name I think it just reminds you of someone else's who has been here recently. So I haven't been streaming that much over the last month. Well, this month I've been streaming, but last month I didn't really, so it may have been June. Yeah, you're there. Um, yeah, I won't go anywhere without water. I don't know. Maybe it's the PTSD, the post-apocalyptic world we live in. It's like you better not get caught up out there without some water. Um. Anyways, ironically enough, someone told me I couldn't help myself. I don't really know what they meant by that. I think they meant because I didn't have a car and couldn't get myself to the store if I wanted to go to the store, whatever. And that I wasn't completely dependent from everyone and everything in my life or whatever, or wasn't completely independent from everything, right? But it's funny because that's kind of what I was getting at is I did help myself in the only way I needed to. Cured myself of a deadly disease, PMDD, and it literally takes lives. Took somebody's life this past week. Very sad thing. So I'm really proud of myself. I don't need anyone else to be proud of me for that. Um, But it is just like this crazy thing where, maybe I shouldn't feel so accomplished and I shouldn't feel so proud of myself, but that right there alone, I really could hardly need anything else in life. Because then you ask, do I miss high school? No. It's like this dissonance, right? I reflect on who I was in high school. Good morning. And I recall it fondly, even though I did not enjoy it at the time. I think a lot of what I did then, I'm good, how are you? Is what I still enjoy now. And I think a lot of my taste developed in high school. A lot of my experiences were things that you can only get away with in high school. Lots of really iconic kind of rock and roll memories, right? I could have got better grades. I could have taken it more seriously. I could have made more long lasting friendships. A lot of people I went to high school with stayed friends with each other and even try to wrap me into their bullshit. And I don't even realize it. I'm like completely ignorant to a lot of it and whatever. I think I've always been one of the autistic kids that the other cool kids bully. And I again don't realize these things until it's like way too late, right? Um, so in a lot of ways, no, I don't miss it because I was miserable. I was dealing with PMDD. I was always a fucking freak. I was always a creative type. I was always awkward. Um, so I didn't really like it. So I wouldn't really want to relive it necessarily. But I miss a lot of things about it and about that time. You have to understand, I went to high school when there was no smartphones, bro. Some of us had flip phones and we would leave them in our locker because like most people didn't have phones. Nobody was using cell phones at the time. Really? Like, what the fuck? Um, it was just one of those things where we were just more free. Like you could just get away with things and not everything was on the fucking internet and blah blah blah. And we weren't so up asses. You just would go out for the day and be with your friends and be in the moment. And it's kind of almost like hard to get that these days. And and I don't that's the thing. I like that. I prefer that. But as an artist, once more, it's back to the conundrum we talked about at the beginning is having to sell yourself. And one of the only means to that end is using the internet, using social media. I don't want to be on it all day, every day. I'm not most days. I avoid it most days. Period days, I'm like, dude, I can't even fucking think for myself right now. I just keep clicking on the goddamn screen and I'm not doing anything on there. And I guess I'll post something. Usually, if I post something, I'm probably having cramps. I'm probably bleeding. Probably sitting there like, fuck it, I can't do anything worth a damn, right? I don't even know who that is. Except like I did a bunch of like random tasks like laundry and stuff today. Dishes, whatever. But yeah, sometimes I can't use my brain function, so social media is good for that. But other than that, I'm one to just scroll, click here and there if I'm doing something on there anyways. Right? Posting on my story all the time. It's like part of me wants to go back to my roots and ditch all this stuff, not be on there. The other part of me is like, look, if you're gonna be an artist, you have to be consistent in your advertising and marketing and expand your um, audience. And I'm torn. So back in high school, you didn't have this we did not have this contemplation. Okay. There are also, I think, like people, like a lot of the teachers I had, I think maybe I took for granted or wish I would have spent more time talking to them in some way. Um, just because it's like they were the educators. And I think I took for granted how good of educators they were, some of them, or just joked too much to take them seriously. Although I think a lot of them learned from me too. And if I could recognize who I am now, then I think I would have been more confident in what I was going through. But I was more insecure then, even though I acted probably more confident than I do now. So there are things that are like, sure, yeah, it is kind of nice to be on a schedule like that, where it's free education and a structure where you go and you get socialization and education, and you're done before the day is over, and you have free time after, and blah 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 blah. Whereas college is all over the place and not a guaranteed social, and you're not in and out at the same time every day. No, I will admit yes, I've danced. Yes, I danced. I don't know how I ended up. Yeah, I couldn't tell you how many times I stood on the desk in high school, but like why and when I couldn't. There was just times, right? Shouldn't have, but yes. Skipped class maybe twice, all 4 years. I probably got sick a few times and still even went. I skipped class like badass skipped class once. I had to finish writing a paper and was at the school for 15 hours the day before. And my mom convinced me to do it. She was like, "Girl, just skip the first 3 hours. Like, it's fine." Like, people saw you at the school yesterday because I did stage crew and stuff. So, he was like, "Just fucking skip." And I was like, "Okay." I didn't really I think I had, like the only time in my life I ever experienced FOMO is, like, really good festival lineups and missing school. And it wasn't because I was, like, gonna miss out on something, even though it always does seem like when you don't go to school, like, "Oh, there was a fight," or somebody literally smoked weed in the fucking hallway, although I was there that day. I could smell it while they did it. It's so crazy. It was like I went to the suburban school with a bunch of white kids, but, like, because it was a suburban school with a bunch of white kids, they just had money to spend on the crazy stuff, and they did not give a fuck what happened. It was just crazy. It was just a crazy experience. It was a really crazy experience. Um, yes and no. Kind of. I was more emo in middle school, but I went to Catholic school and then went to public school, so they didn't know me. So I was like kind of emo, but not like the emo kids were emo. I hung out with the emo kids, but I was kind of like the dying scene before scene was like the eyeliner. Like y'all don't remember. I don't know how old y'all are, but like scene girls, first wave scene girls were probably like the hipster chicks in the 20s. So second wave scene girls in the early aughts. We were doing like the long pearl necklaces, fake pearls, and little like bows, neon colors, polka dots, flats, low rise jeans. It's like, what? Lurk outside? What do you mean? Yeah, go sit outside. Take me with you. Put headphones in. I can show you the world. Sure. Um, but no, I wasn't really emo. I was, like, trying not to be so goth. I was very goth in middle school, and it became emo, and then, like, as I kind of was getting through puberty, I was more, like, scene. You're welcome. Y'all are too flattering sometimes. Make me blush and shit, but, um, so, yes, that's the longest answer. I think there are things about it that are missed and things that I could care less about, but overall, it was not necessarily a good experience, but definitely an experienced one, right? Like, I wouldn't know how else to explain, like, crazy how like, again, I was miserable at the time, but looking back, I'm so proud of myself, so impressed with who I was. Because at first I was very shy, you know, thrown into a new environment, culture shocking. But by the end of it, I was very experimental, very I started to get into this like peace, love, and understanding kind of thing. Because yes, I did start. uh, Yeah, I started using psychedelic drugs when I was in high school. So like by senior year, I was all like, yeah. So proud of myself. But going through those early stages of awakening and like experimenting with those things. But again, it was all experience for me. There was no future I was planning for. Um, Kind of this one. It depends on how you consider that question because I got my first deck in 2012, but I lost it and it came back in 2014 and that's when I really learned, but I'm self-taught, right? I did it casually and occasionally for a few years after that. But then what? And then 2018 I started doing like events and stuff. Yeah, I told you that, right? That was my first deck. I found it in the store I worked in. Without a case, without a booklet or anything, and I just like recognized it's like that's the whole story. Because that was like good to you for that. But that's when all the Egyptian stuff came to me too, and I didn't know that the deck was Egyptian, and I didn't know it was Aleister Crowley because it didn't have a box. I saw the image and I said, "Wait, I've seen that." And I went and picked up this deck. It was just a loose deck sitting in the back of the shop, and my manager was like, "Oh yeah, that's yours." Okay, yeah, wow. Put it out almost like bait. It was like fate, but it was like bait, to see who would find it quickly. It's me. I am the Rashkushi and I'm the Dawn. Um, but yes, it was right after the reckoning, the awakening. I guess this was 2013 for me. Yeah, yeah, it was 2013. It was right after 2012, end of the world kind of thing. So I was getting into it right then. I was being called to see the truth, being called to show others the truth, while still searching for my own. They were gifting me, trusting me with these things way before I was ready or aware, because I've been practicing since I was a child, having been so religious, having been Catholic. Never been into crystal balls, never been into scrying. I use my mirrors, but I only am really ever doing energy work. I only use my own energy, my own everything, me. And I never really put too much stake into others or the effects that it has, other than, the morale resign things, right? Being able to see comes from within me. I try to avoid as many tools as possible. Well, it's a lot of responsibility. You have to remember to leave it covered at all times, or you could burn your house down. And that's just like a lot of responsibility that I don't think I would want. What era? Are you referring to like the 2012 era or like the Twin Flame era? Um, Interesting you would say that. Kind of, that's what I'm saying. During high school, during those 10 years after high school, I was actively miserable. Oh, I wasn't going through that in high school. I mean, maybe I was, but that's creepy as fuck to think about because I was not aware of it until much later. I didn't think I had a twin. I didn't know what a twin flame was, but I was like, that's my twin when I was like 18, 19, 20, 20, probably 20. So I was not spiritual in high school. I was anti-religious, anti-establishment, punk as fuck, rebel, atheist, science-based in high school. Very anti-spiritual. But then I got into psychedelics, so I was starting to come back around to like God is everywhere. I am God. You are God. Everyone should take acid and know what this is like. So that's what I'm saying. It wasn't until, yeah. Well, that's again. I went to Catholic school from the ages 3 until age 14. I got all my sacraments that I could get done. So I've been in prayer in a state of meditation and doing incantations and spell work since I was fucking 3, 4, 5 years old, praying to Jesus' dead body. It's a very Catholic thing, and I don't think people really like think about that or realize that. Is there's a huge emphasis on the dead stuff in Catholicism, and it's not a normal thing in Christianity. If you go look at a Christian church, like most depictions of Jesus are him standing in his robes with his arms extended and his hair glowing, and he's like happy. But in Catholicism, like you might see a statue of Jesus, but you are guaranteed going to see the crucifix. And the difference, of course, is like all Christians use the cross as a symbol, but the crucifix has his dead body on it. So Catholics will wear a crucifix. Going to Catholic school, they had his a crucifix in every room, like not a cross, but a crucifix. So it's just a very strange thing to have been practicing necromancy since I was 3, but not knowing that until now. So when you actually get into the practice, nice. I love rosaries, but I'll wear it around my neck and not give a fuck. Sorry, it's my rosary. It's like a necklace. I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm gonna wear it. I wear prayer beads. I wanna wear my prayer beads. Catholic Church is weird having rules like that. They're not spiritual. They're indoctrinated. But absolutely. I don't think all prayer is necessarily necromancy, but I do think when you literally incorporate the dead body, that it is. You get what I'm saying? Praying to Jesus, he always talked back. I never understood prayer because they'd say, Jesus will answer in a way, and da da da. I was like, I'm not just hearing him talk back. Okay. Because he's a person and he died. Like, yeah, been practicing necromancy for a long time. So once I became into the spiritual world, once I got the tarot cards, once I joined the not coven, but like working in those types of things, learning about crystals, spending my money on it, I guess. Once I got into those things, it was like I was already ready, but I was kind of unaware, even though I kind of knew. I didn't know what, right? So that was really difficult. I don't do spells. I don't do spells. I don't know what people can do. They drinking alcohol right now. I don't know what other people can do or what they use them for. I just usually throw them in something and, oh, this means this, and I like it. Thank you. Bring me that. Carry them around if I feel a need. Actually, buy a crystal. It'll be my best friend for a week or two, and then it slowly disappears or something. Um, the Crystal Bible is usually a pretty good start, but it's not really going to tell you how to utilize them as much as it's going to go over like what they are and the properties of them and teach you about like the names and how to identify them. Although I think it does have some kind of like usage. Um, 20 seconds to the ad already, so be right back. Y'all, he's quick with a joke and to light up a smoke, ladies and gentlemen, the piano man. He's here. I don't know why that song popped to my head. And I don't know why I didn't want to sing it, but just like speak it as if the piano man was here. Okay. He says, "Son, can you play me a melody?" I'm not really sure how it goes, but it's sad and it's sweet, and I knew it complete when I were a younger man. All right. What's up? How's it going? Oh la 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 la. I appreciate y'all being here for viewers for this hour, this deep in 555 on the timer. That's pretty kind of all of you. And it's less lurker energy tonight because you've all chatted at some point. But I think we're all getting kind of tired here, and nobody's got anything left to say. The streams are always so random. I feel like lately they've been more personal than anything, and I want to. Well, not necessarily. It's not. It's not ever like personal the whole time, right? Um, it's a good mix. I think messages. Is somebody eating a Subway sandwich right now, or like similar to one? Oh, it's so creepy. Like it's weird, right? Like you don't need to know so much information. I don't even do it on purpose. It's like I could taste the cold cuts and the bread and the dressing, and it was like Subway. Oh, anyways, maybe not. But either way, it's getting kind of quiet around here. Nothing personal to y'all. I understand y'all want to sleep. Y'all don't feel like entertaining me. I'm entertaining you. Way too tired for tarot. I think I should probably just call it this. Unless y'all got any more questions, probably just go. We just rolled the ads too. Last call. Last minute. Okay, I'm gonna go. I don't know when I'll be back. I cannot even think about what I've got to do. And also my period. The thing is, it's like I might not be able to do some of the stuff that I had planned for tomorrow. Well, because I'm ragged out. So I could be back on because sometimes it's easy to just sit here and chit chat. And it's one of the only things I can do when I feel like this, cramping and bleeding and generally sad because of the cramping and bleeding, right? Um, but yeah, maybe I'll be back tomorrow, but who knows? I noticed I've been streaming a little bit less lately, which is good. And to be overworking myself, but it is also fun, and I miss y'all if I go too long. So it's not tomorrow; it'll be soon, later this week. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much all I got. I feel like there was probably a few things I wanted to bring up. There was a reason we went so in depth about the conspiracy theory versus hypothesis conversation because I was going to discuss some certain ones, but we had a some good conversation about some of those examples, anyways. So if you want to rewatch the stream, it was a pretty interesting one. I didn't end up doing any tarot at any point. If I ever am doing tarot, you'll know because of the screen change, but it was definitely an interesting chat, to say the least. And if you do want tarot videos, I did individual zodiac videos this weekend or week. I don't know what days it was. Saturday and Monday. So you can go over to my YouTube channel. I'm going to link it right now, and you can watch your sign or whatever. There's some readings from earlier in the month, um, kind of like Venus and retrograde readings. So you can watch those as well. They're all in the August playlist. If you want to book a personal reading, also you can do that. And you can the website book online. And of course, if you like my hoodie, you can get yourself one of these or something else in my merch store. Also on my website. And anything else that you might need from me while I'm gone will be, of course, the link tree. So feel free to drop some subscriptions, spend some money, buy some things, book me up, write a review, play my songs. Y'all heard the mixtape yet? That's also on my website, but I just uploaded it to Bandcamp and SoundCloud if you prefer those platforms to my own goddamn website, which I think is a pretty cool way to listen to my music. So consider that. But well, now that there's more viewers, I was just kind of letting everybody know I was taking any last minute questions for the evening, and then I'm gonna skedaddle. That's the plan. So once more, you can check out some of my other work, book a personal reading, catch some of the readings that I posted on YouTube, listen to my music, read some of my writing, um, do whatever you gotta do, spend money elsewhere, leave a tip or two, do it up and do it for me, do it because you know Ricky B, do it because you know that I could use three, do it because you know that you don't know me, but somehow you're on here every single night and you fantasizing about habit. Right? And I swear to God, you try to hold back with all your might, but you're on here wondering if you can make it right. And I don't know, maybe you could try to spend a couple dollars and waste some time like you wasted mine. And I tell you what, ain't over till the fat lady fuck. Come on, go listen to my music, read my stuff, sign up, become a member on my website. You can actually sign up for free, become a free member, and then you have access to the forum. And you can also find like other cool features like a loyalty program where you can collect points and get discounts, as well as super secret groups that you can join. You know? So go check it out. I'm gonna go. You can also follow my socials. Yes, we get it. Okay, but you know what? I don't advertise enough and I'm trying to expand my audience. All right. And my story right now on my secondary account is literally so adorable. Miss Stacks Chakra. You guys are so sweet to me. It's so much fun. Um, yes. I love y'all so much. I will catch you at the next one, whenever that may be, whether it's tomorrow, the next day, next week. It doesn't matter. I cannot wait to see you again. I cannot wait to do this. Oh, is that it? Um, oh, oh. Oh, I was trying to do ow. If I was doing om, I would go oh instead of oh. But it does probably sound the same. All right, now we're just fucking goofing around, yo. I gotta go. Go to bed. Go do something with your lives. No, I'm just playing. All right, all right, all right. Once again, good. Go, go prove it. Go show me that you fuck with me, that you like me, that you ride with me, that you vibe with me, that you do anything inside of me. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Why does it always go so sexual? Yeah, that's the hot woman talking. All right. Another deep stream, another deep dream. Okay, let's stop with the freestyling, but never do. Not right now because, fuck. Okay. Love you. Good night. Mwah, and good luck, as always. Until the next one.